Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video podcast. So, interesting episode. Today we sit down with Spencer Davidson, owner of Acquistions. What he does is he specializes in wholesaling and acquiring mobile home park communities in Florida. But what's really interesting about him is he's only 28 years old, has only been in the mobile home park / commercial real estate space for about a year now, and he's already done hundreds of thousands of dollars in wholesale fees. And then on top of that, before he even got into commercial real estate, he owned a residential real estate brokerage and scaled that up to over 100 agents before selling the company. So this guy's very experienced in business in general, aside from just the mobile home park and commercial real estate space. Personally, this is one of my favorite podcasts because we just get along really well. We're similar age and mindset. This actually was the very first time we met in person too. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. And before we get started, this podcast is brought to you by mhpvalley.com and credealaccelerator.com. Hope you guys enjoy this video.
Oh, we're fucking live.
We're live.
We're live.
Fucking live.
So I don't do the intros and shit.
Okay.
I usually do, but you know what the problem is? People who aren't used to being on camera, it's odd for them. They start to get in it's not a conversation. They get in the
clam up.
All right,
and
we're live.
We're live.
Armand, pleasure to be on the podcast.
Yes.
Thanks for the invite. It's not a talk show.
It's like a nervous wreck, sweaty palms.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, a lot of people, I don't know the people that you interview. I watch some of your stuff, but they're not filming themselves and they're not vlogging and podcasting. So it's like you're pulling them out of their environment, putting them in a strange.
Yeah. And people who aren't used to camera stuff, just it weighs on them for some reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, that used to be me, man. Like when I first started trying to film content and do stuff, I would be if this was me 10 years ago and I actively knew I should do it.
Yeah.
But there's no way I would have the balls to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Ring light, all this stuff. And it's now I'm I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Can I cuss on this?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, okay.
Fuck.
Sorry, it's one of my flaws.
Yeah. No, I curse all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, it would be oh my God, I can't do this. Or I'd actively be okay, Spencer, today you're going to walk down the street with the camera in your face.
Yeah.
That would be a win.
Yeah.
And vlog your day. And it's I would clam up and be oh, that person is looking at me.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Dude, I still kind of get like that, but that's if I'm if I look ridiculous and I'm vlogging in an area that looks ridiculous. Sometimes, you're just walking in a coffee shop and you're just what's up, guys? And
everyone's just chilling on their Macs and headphones in and
and you're
that one asshole. That guy. Yeah.
But this though, we're set up, we're in a normal setting. This stuff, I'm chill as can be. You know what would make vlogging a lot of fun? When if you hire a photographer or videographer, because then you look like the big G.
Of course.
You don't look like some
of course
self-conceited dick.
Yeah.
Like Logan Paul in his early days. Ooh,
yeah,
what's up, Logan?
Right, absolutely. But now look at Logan Paul now.
I know, but now he's got a camera crew, so he looks legit.
Yeah. And so people are calling him an idiot though.
Yeah.
But now look at him. He's worth $300 million or whatever it is, or $500 million. And yeah, dude. I mean, it's just there's a bunch of different exercises to get over yourself and realize that none of this actually matters at the end of the day. We're all gonna die. No one's gonna give a shit. Kind of what Hermosi talks about all the time. And I just love that method, that mindset.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's these people getting out of the car right now. I'll never.
Yeah, we'll never see them.
I'll never see them.
It's they're actual NPCs. When you think of a video game, it's it's literally if it doesn't impact my storyline, my story arc, our story arc, and how we interact, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and if anything, actually, I've actually gotten positive reinforcement from strangers when I do this now, because it's but, oh, dude, I saw that video.
Yeah.
And he's a complete stranger, and you're oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for saying that. This helped me with this. Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting the amount of people that reach out through social media cold, and it'll only be a handful, right? Because we're not famous yet. But that handful, it's wait, this is all it takes is for one of these people to work out. It's to give you an idea. The Lake Alfred deal that I told you guys about, that was someone who downloaded my free guide. Yeah. He was a resi guy and called a mobile home park. Yeah. And then he's dude, I have this mobile home park seller. And when he called me, I'm oh, this is a doable deal. He wants 60 a pad. That's kind of he's not that far off reality.
That'll work. That'll work.
So
no, I like that deal too. I just think it was too quick for us to do anything. Like, it was just, we had to wrap our brain. Like, because when we go through the underwriting process, it can be kind of extensive. And like, we'll kick it back and forth for a little bit, and then it was gone. I don't know about you, but like, I'm such a big fan of like 10, 11 a.m. black coffee cigar.
Oh, dude, it's the best
time.
I also love like a post-lunch one, because I don't get that post-lunch crash if I get out in the sunlight, cigar and coffee. And
after my dial session,
I'll
do all my like, you know, emails and stuff over a cigar.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Derek's like, dude, you're gonna turn into a cigar. You got your bag and stuff, too?
Yeah, got the bag.
Sweet. I'm gonna get my
All right, we're back on, baby.
Sweet. Yeah, this looks good.
Yeah.
I like this.
So those of you who don't know, listeners, Spencer here is and I do an intro before the podcast, by the way.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's like I still do the intro, but like that way it doesn't mess up the flow. But
right. Okay.
Just to put some context into what we're going back beforehand and then tying into how we know each other now. Currently, he is acquisition / investor / wholesaler of mobile home parks in the industry now.
Pretty much, yeah.
But previously, starting with, he used to own his own brokerage and actually scaled up to doing like 160 houses in your best year, like around that.
Yep.
60, a lot of transactions.
60 million. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can dive into that too.
Yeah. But yeah, so you get into real estate, dude. What's the first thing? Join a brokerage, start cold calling, or how'd you kind of get started?
Yeah, so you know, kind of a precursor to that. So kind of circling back to my childhood, I was an athlete. My dad, you know, really pushed that. He raised us by himself.
Yeah.
Me and my brother. So it was like sports over everything. Yeah. And so, you know, baseball, basketball. I was an three-time All-State basketball player.
Nice.
You know, started varsity baseball in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Like, that was what I thought my life was going to be. It was like, okay, we're going to go play collegiate something, and then maybe semi-pro something.
Yeah, so you're doing high-level travel sports. From
dude, I'm like 4 days in school, 3 days in school a week. Everything else, I'm traveling all over the country playing sports.
Yeah.
So the reason I talk about that is just because like that competitiveness of wanting more and like that drive was kind of instilled in me at an early age. But then when I got to high school, I just started dealing with like some injury bullshit stuff. Like 1 year I had my appendix out, so that fucked things up, and then had a big major knee surgery and things like that. So I started seeing slowly like the writing on the wall that I'm like, okay, dude, you're a 3-time All-State basketball player in Iowa, but you are barely 6 foot white.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like you're not
like you're showing up to these tournaments and you're getting dunked on.
Yeah.
Like, maybe this isn't going to be how you thought it was going to be. Yeah. Like, and so I was really bummed. And so I was 16 years old, and I was in class, and we had these like, I don't know if you had these business school courses in school, high school.
Yeah.
Like, but we had an intro to entrepreneurship class.
Okay.
I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I resonate with this.
Yeah.
Like, money. Like, I want to make something. I want to do something. And so I got really fascinated with business. So like when I was 16 and I was in that class, I was like, Dad, can you get me a subscription to Forbes magazine? So I started seeing these guys on the magazine covers and wearing suits, you know, smoking cigars. Like, I just really resonated with that.
Yeah. I know, bro.
Sick.
Surprise!
That's what I need next.
Yeah, the helicopter would be nice. I know one guy in the mobile home park industry with a helicopter, and he took like our team out on a ride. I was like, oh, this guy's a big G. And then he was telling us how like the jet is the next level, and he was like, I really need to get to the jet level.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think like for local I think I can make it from Panama City to here on a helicopter.
Yeah.
I think I could.
Yeah.
I don't know though for a fact.
Yeah. You know what I think would be awesome? Let's say me, you, Derek, we have one other guy. We're all doing just national real estate, but within like a region of the U.S. So we're within 3 states of something, right? It'd be actually pretty cheap to split like an older single engine plane that fits 4 or 5 people.
Oh yeah, and then Derek and I were literally talking about that
today. We could go fly to North Carolina to go see this property today, and get the one in Alabama and make it home by 8 p.m.
That's exactly what Derek and I were just talking about today. Yeah. Like I totally agree.
And that's like not that far out of reach because
you could get one for 600.
Yeah,
700,000.
Yeah, and it's like if you're splitting it 4 guys, you guys have one of your buddies who just has his flight license. It doesn't have to be commercial because it's like you guys are splitting it privately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys at the Cigar Lounge back up on 30A that they have their own pilot's license. They fly all, you know. Yeah. It's just like, dude. You know, and I don't think I'd get my pilot license, but having somebody that could do that.
Yeah. One of my buddies from high school, he got his, and he took us on this shitty little single engine Cessna he trained on. We went from Boca Raton to not Peanut Island, like it's on the west coast, southwest coast of Florida. But anyways, we flew there, got lunch, flew back. It was like 3 hours.
Yeah,
like all
sick.
in for lunch and
That's
everything.
Sick, dude.
Me and my buddy got hammered while he was flying.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it took me 6 hours to get here today, so I'm like, anything is better than.
Oh yeah, this would have been. This would have been easy.
I'm like, dude, yeah. But yeah, man. So, but yeah, it's like, anyways, competitive athlete. Started getting into business when I took that Intro to Entrepreneurship course, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And nobody in my family was a business person. Like my dad was a probation officer and things like that, but I started getting interested in that. And so it was interesting timing, because when I was 16, my basketball coach at the time, who was like, dude, insane work ethic. Like, you know, he just, I was like a coach's pet in the sense of like, he opened the gym at 5, I was there at 5. Like, he was like, dude, you have such a good work ethic, but here's the reality. I don't see a future in you playing college basketball. And I was like, okay, yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
And he was like, and my dad at the time was like, dude, if you don't get a full ride, you're not going to college.
Yeah.
Like, I will not sign on that form to get you debt.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think it's worth it.
Yeah. That's cool that the coach was straight up, though.
Yeah, straight.
Cool. He's
blunt.
a G. Guess he liked
Yeah,
you.
dude, he was like, but here's the deal. He's like, I did really well in the 80s, like in or 90s, and like Oracle and these stocks, right? So, dude's low key. A teacher has $1 million like in stocks.
Okay, so he's just teaching passion projects.
But passion. Super cool. Dave, shout out Dave.
Yeah.
And Dave was like still one of my mentors today. One of my best friends.
And where was this you growing up?
I'm from northern Iowa.
Okay.
So like I'm talking like small farm town.
You got the Midwest vibes.
Yeah.
You got a little Midwest vibes. Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I changed a little bit, but small town, northern Iowa.
Yeah.
Like combine, like I was driving in here today. I saw Ferrari.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck yeah. Like back home, it would have been like a $400,000 combine.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
And you're like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Like, but I'll never be able to get that because I'm not a farmer.
Yeah.
But anyways, so Dave's like, look, dude, you know, I'm going to retire the same year you're graduating, which is next year, and I am going to open a coffee shop franchise called Cabin Coffee, and I want you to go out and run it.
Okay.
And I'm 17, and I'm like, where? And he's like, Breckenridge, Colorado.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been.
Yeah.
I know
Breckenridge.
Dude, fucking sick.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know what skiing is. I don't know anything. I'm like, okay, like that sounds cool.
And now you're in an upscale coffee shop.
Yeah, like upscale, roast our own beans, like shit like that. And I'm like, dude, I've never had coffee in my life. I don't know what the hell. But he's like, I'll pay you $75K a year.
Yeah.
Like, out of high school?
Oh, wow. Yeah. And what, were you just like manager of it?
Run the whole shit. Run the whole shit. And I'm like, oh wow, I don't know anything about that.
That's a crazy into small business.
Small business entrepreneurship,
right off the bat.
Just right off the bat. And what was crazier is his uncle owned 5,000 acres of farmland.
Okay.
And he was a backer.
Yeah.
Dude's got his own private jet. He owns 22 nursing homes. He's worth $200 million.
Yeah.
And I made 60. I don't know what the fuck this means.
Wait, so this is all your basketball coach?
Basketball coach and his uncle.
Oh, okay, and his uncle.
So his uncle's wealthy as fuck.
Yeah, but that's why he knows too about the stock game.
Yeah.
He knows the money world.
He knows it. Yeah,
and that's a crazy fucking in.
Yeah, dude. But I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Like if I'm now, I'm like, oh, that's a sick opportunity.
Yeah, but then you're like 75,000. Yeah.
But back then I'm like 75K. But like I thought, oh, 75K, I'm balling.
Yeah.
I didn't think about the 200 million that this guy has that I could probably figure out how to use.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would now.
Yeah, now you're looking back there. You should have pitched him on like, we could go buy more land.
Bro, I'm like, I still have Wayne's contact. I'm like, bro.
Like, there's this thing called mobile home parks. Have you heard of it?
You want me to get me on a nursing home or something? Like, but yeah, so that's kind of how that started. And so when I was 18, I moved out there to run the shop. And so I packed up the day I graduated, loaded up my U-Haul with him, and we moved out there. And that was kind of my intro to business.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I thought, oh, I'm a businessman. I get to wear a suit.
Yeah.
You know, I get to do all this stuff.
Yeah, make your 75.
Make my 75, but in reality, I was fucking wearing t-shirt and jeans, mopping the floors, picking up shit, working. I'm talking, we opened at 5:30 in the morning, so I had to be there at 4:30, and then we didn't close till 10, so I didn't get out till 11:30.
Yeah.
And I would do that 7 days a week for a year straight.
Yeah.
And so I developed that work ethic, but I already had it from sports, so it kind of transitioned. But then when I looked at my hourly rate, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then so at that point, when I was living out there, I had a girlfriend who moved out with me, and you know that's the whole horror story of dating when you're young. She was like, oh, I want to move home, I miss my family.
Nice.
I was like, fuck, fine.
Yeah, so I probably threw you on your head too while you're like, work stressing me out.
Yeah,
girlfriend's
dude.
leaving me. It's like, fuck.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm coming home too.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I was like, oh, I'll just enroll into college.
Yeah.
At the local junior college there, and I'll pick up. I had a mentor again. He was like the Wayne guy. He's like, all right, learn everything you can about finance and real estate. Yeah. So first nugget.
Okay. Yeah. So he
I'm like, okay, so I need to learn everything I can about finance and real estate.
Yeah.
hindsight, if I'd have been 18, if I could have went back, I probably would have opened 100 coffee shops with this guy. It'd been worth $25 million by now, but whatever. Lesson learned. But yeah, so anyways, you go back, and I'm in college. It's entrepreneurship. It's they didn't have a real estate. I literally sat down and said, she's like, what do you want to major in? I'm like, finance and real estate. She's like, we don't have a real estate course. Like, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what's the econ? Like economics? Like, she's like, yeah, okay. So I was a finance economics major, double major.
Yeah.
And I had to pay for it myself. So I was a bar manager.
Yeah.
So I was doing 18-hour credits, 60 hours a week at the bar. And then I decided, I was like, dude, if I'm in college, I cannot play sport. Like, I just have to play sports.
Yeah.
So I walked on the college golf team.
Okay.
I made the team.
Nice.
So I was playing golf, running the bar, and going to school.
And
I
you're
was
fucking slammed with
dude, slammed all the time. Yeah. So like the hours that I've worked has always been crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So then when I transitioned, I was 6 months in. I was a semester in to college, and I was like, dude, this just doesn't make any sense. I came here to learn about money.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make money. Like, I knew I wanted to make money. I wanted to be a business owner, and I have my accounting professor. And I don't care. I hope this doesn't offend anybody. Actually, I don't care if it offends anybody.
Yeah, fuck him.
Fuck him. But like, I have someone trying to teach me about money, i.e. accounting, and he's telling me to vote for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, it's like, all right, this guy doesn't
What
get
the
accounting.
fuck? I'm just sitting here like, well, I'm more of a capitalist, not a social. Like, I'm like, okay, this.
I don't care about the social issues and fucking.
I was like, time out. This doesn't make sense. So I'm failing his course. And I'm in class and I'm pissed off because we just got in a heated debate about why, I think capitalism is this. And, he was like, oh, well, you work off tips. Wouldn't you rather just make $25 an hour? I'm like, fuck you, no.
You, dude.
Yeah, so.
I bet all the accounting stuff you do is like such like weird specialized accounting, like school problems. It's like isn't even applicable to real life and navigating real taxes for business.
No, that's what we were arguing about. I said, I ran the books for my coffee shop.
Like we don't do any of this.
This is not how I did this.
This has nothing to do with write-offs and different tax breaks we could have, and
Yeah, there's no. Oh yeah, like depreciation, nothing. It was like,
nothing.
This is. I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And so we were just getting in, and he was just trying to preach this whole like, hand out like the vote for Bernie stickers in class. I'm like, dude, you're pushing an agenda. You're not teaching me. And so I'd get pissed off and anyways, I was sitting in class and I was pissed off, and I just said, fuck it. And I Googled, I was in class, had my headphones in, I Googled on my phone, I was like, how to make $1 million by 30, or how to be a millionaire by 30 without going to college.
Yeah.
And you know what the first video that popped up was?
Wholesale real estate?
Nope. Cardone.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's Young Hustlers, bro.
Young Hustlers, dude. Young Hustlers and Real Estate Mondays was like what made me drop out. I was like, I'm dropping out. I'm going to syndicate real estate.
So I'm sitting there. I listened to the 25-minute video in class.
Yeah.
And before class was over, I roll up my headphones. Granted, I went through the first semester. This is starting my second.
Yeah.
I rolled my headphones. I throw my phone, or I think it was an iPod actually. Fuck, I don't remember. Throw it in my bag. Throw it in my back, and I walk out of class. He's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I fucking quit."
Yeah.
He's like, "What do you mean?" And I dropped out then and there. After watching that 25-minute video, I dropped out.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't drop out officially because I just didn't go back to school. So I don't know. So I just got straight Fs.
You just left and just stopped paying. It's like, see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how that transcript would look. I just left and I was like, okay. And but anyways, that video just talked about getting into sales.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, okay. And my brother was a car salesman, so he's a little bit older than me. So I started seeing him, like, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I was like, but my brother was like, car sales is okay, it's this and that. I'm like, I don't know. But then I remember the show $1 Million Listings in New York. Like Ryan Serhant, Frederick Eckling. And I'm like, dude, this is sick. They're selling, slinging deals, getting huge commissions.
Yeah.
I want to sell real estate.
Yeah.
So I typed in real estate jobs. Real estate jobs in Des Moines, which is the nearest city to me. Because I knew I wouldn't make a living back in my
fucking $70,000 house.
In my hometown. Yeah. Like I was like, I need to go sell the big stuff.
Yeah.
Which Des Moines, Iowa, not
it's
really
probably
big.
Still like $350, but
average price point, like $350.
But still, it's a good house for $350.
It's
you're not selling.
It's bigger. It's bigger,
it's
right?
Not some shit box and fucking who knows.
Yeah, because I didn't have the money or anything to be like, oh, I'm gonna go to New York. I thought about it, but I'm like, I don't think I would. I don't know. It was too big of a leap.
Yeah, and I think the personality types too, like not to hijack it, but New York City and the New York Northeast lifestyle, it's just like a weird personality that like Midwest personalities don't really click well with it.
No.
And until you kind of learn the game. Like even like I have a Northeast kind of upbringing just because my parents are both from New York and stuff.
Yeah.
And like even within our own other street office, we have this old guy in his 70s that's from New York. So like me and him get along and we understand each other's like nuances, but the other people on the team hate him. And I'm like, it's kind of funny how like different.
The different personality types, dude. No, and I get that completely because, like, you know, I'm from the Midwest. I'm down here, like, waving to strangers, and people are like,
yeah, like, who are you? Like, are you crazy?
Yeah. Like, you know. But yeah, that's how I got into it, and I literally applied, and it was a real estate brokerage. The first thing on Indeed, it was like $100,000 a year, and I'm like, sick, let's do that.
It always says that.
Right.
Always says that. Real estate agent, make your own hours, $150 a year.
Real estate agents, beware.
Beware.
All Indeed ads say that.
Get ready to make $30,000 your first year.
In Florida, it says $250.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's funny. We both went through the Resi merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's Keller Williams, run.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was like $100,000 a year. So I was like, sick, I'm gonna make so much money, and I applied and had no experience. My resume was like one line, but I had the coffee shop experience, showed my income, and they're like, okay, that's cool. So he calls me and he was like, hey man, like, you know, I'm gonna come down and interview.
Yeah.
Well, if you know anything about real estate, now I know about real estate. Becoming an agent, like, you pick where you work. You don't get interviewed.
It's not the other way around.
It's not an interview process.
Yeah, because they don't fucking pay you.
So I'm sitting there all nervous, like, fuck, I hope I get, bring it on. It's like, dude, anybody that can breathe can be a real estate agent. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But this guy actually had a killer sales team.
Okay. So he actually had a team and a process.
Yeah, he had his own company. It's called Smart Avenue.
Okay.
And it was he left Remax.
Yeah.
And he was selling probably like $20 million a year.
Yeah.
And then he took his team and started his own company called Smart Avenue Realty.
Yeah.
And I walked in there, dude, and it was like Wolf of Wall Street, fucking dialing.
Yeah.
Like, guys were doing
leaderboard
drugs,
on the
partying.
whiteboard.
Yeah, doing drugs, like partying all the time. And I was 19, so I was like, I can't do all this stuff. But they were dialing every day, like numbers on the board, like just headsets, hammering it. So, anyways, they brought me on, and he put me in the office, and he said, here's 200 leads. Sit your ass down, call them all. You don't do anything else.
Yeah. That's cool that residential, you were able to go right into the cold calling base, because when I started in Resi, this was the flaw or like the mistake I made, not realizing this. I started working for two guys that, so in Clermont, Florida, they're like one of the guys, like they do a bunch of houses, they do like new development, like single family custom homes and like small retail buildings. Like if you want to rebuild an office building, like they're the guys. And they were like established, and everything was word of mouth for them because they were already known guys. So when they hired me, it was like, I'm like, how do I even get leads? And they had no training process. And it was like,
oh, it's like sit at my open house.
Yeah, exactly. And then eventually I found Ricky Caruth online. I'm sure you heard of him.
Yeah,
cold call.
I like Ricky.
Yeah,
I like Ricky's stuff. I mean, yeah, dude. So I got lucky.
Yeah.
And it was like
you got to see what a real sales team looks like right off the bat.
Well, yeah, and it was that's what it was all about.
Yeah.
And it was all about, dude, and kind of my schedule to this day, minus the afternoon drinks, but it was like hammer out as many calls as you can from 8 till 1.
Yeah.
And then, they just went and got drunk after.
Yeah.
And then if they had an appointment, they went on the appointment.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
it
was like, and then it was awesome too, because they had like a chat, and it was like, hey, I booked an appointment, like pending, like fuck you. Like, it was that competitive thing that I loved about sports that I found in sales.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, for me, dude, like, I had no problem sitting there 9-10 hours a day and making dials, because like for me, I just got done working at a coffee shop.
Yeah. So it's
like 16 hours a day, like, and I was an athlete my whole, like, so like the work ethic thing, I was like, I got this. So like I booked my first appointment within 12 hours of being on the phone. Had my first sale within 2 weeks.
Awesome.
Like, I was selling 3 to 5 homes a month within the first 6 months.
You're just ripping the fucking lines. Yeah.
Yeah. And those were incoming buyer leads that they spent, right?
Yeah.
So, little note there.
Yeah. And you're probably having to give like the team split and stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was 50% split, which if
for a whole team infrastructure with no experience, that's actually a good gig.
That's a really good gig.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, for those of you that are considering residential real estate, or are in it currently, the reality is this. There's a lot of brokerages out there offering 100% commission.
Yep.
But 100% of no sales is 0.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 50% of 100 sales is a significant amount of money.
Yeah. And you're better off starting a team, because it's like I know one of my friends that got in Resi, and he does good in Resi, and I've been telling him, like, do commercial, because it's just, I mean, one check. You don't double end. I mean, you double end everything. There's no buyer agent.
Right. Yeah, no.
And yeah, he's 70-30 with his brokerage, and then he's 70-30 with his team. So he actually nets like 40% of the actual total, and then he's got to split it with the buyer's agent all the time. It's
right.
Like,
yeah.
When you walk away with 20% of 10 grand, it's not. But high volume, because
you got to do a lot of that, and that's literally was my business model.
But it's good training.
Yeah, dude. So I got into that, and then you know, I was doing that for like 6 months to a year, and then I transitioned to you know, I switched teams, switched brokerages. I had a buddy that did like 50 or 60 homes a year before he's like, hey, I'm starting my own company, type thing. Would you come join me? And he's like, it's going to be a little bit different because I don't have the money really to spend on buyer leads, so we got to find sellers. So I went from buyer's agent to flipping over to sellers, which was cold calling for sale by owners and expired listings. And so that opened me up because I could really handle probably like 3 to 5 buyers a month.
But sellers you could do.
Dude, I could 10, 20. It doesn't matter. You put the sign in the yard, do the marketing, do the advertising. I could do it all remote. And so I love that. And I was like, oh, this is sick. However, my partner at the time, or the guy that opened this up and had me come on board, it was just me and him and one other guy. Dude, he literally just like sat in his office, smoked pot all day. Like I was doing everything, and I'm like, this is dumb, dude. Like you just you're just fucking around. And so then, you know, I was there a short time, and then I switched over to another firm, Realty One Group. Which shout out to them, they're great. They're 100% commission. And so if you have your shit together, like you've done the real estate transaction before, it's a great place to go because then they
leave you alone, do your thing.
Leave you alone, do your thing, and you make all the money. And you pay them a $500 transaction fee. And I'm like, that is a great business model if you know what you're doing. And so then I was like, okay, well, I lost a little bit of confidence because this guy was such a like just goofing off and stuff. I was like, what is this going on? And I lost some confidence because like nobody knew who we were. We had no brand recognition. Like so it was harder for me to get listings. And then I was like, is it me? Like maybe it's me. And so I was struggling financially. I was like, I went from doing all this to now I'm not doing anything. And then I transitioned to Realty One Group, and I was like, first 3 months, like 100 grand, 0 to, you know, 20 homes closed in like 3 to 4 months. I'm like, no, it's not me. Okay, I'm good at this. And it was all FSBOs, all expireds, like listings, like going in there with a bigger brand. I was like, okay, I'm good at this. And then, dude, busting that out, COVID came around, 2020, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna start my own company. And then that's when I started my own brokerage, and during that time when we were shut down for 2 weeks, and I built out the websites, did all that myself, and I launched it, got my brokerage license active, started my own company. Within like a week or two, I had a business partner approach me, my future business partner approached me. It was like, hey, I can help you with he was a digital marketing guy. He's like, I can help you with all the marketing back ends. I built a $5 million digital marketing agency. Like, let me help you with this. So I was like, yeah, perfect. So I did that, and within 18 months, I went from working out of my bedroom to having 4 offices throughout the Midwest, Des Moines, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Columbus, and then the North Shores of Ohio. Had 30 agents. We did 162 transactions, like 60 million. All based on that strategy of dialing.
Questions I have, and this ties into my current situation. How'd you build the skill set of scaling a team and knowing like who to bring on and how to structure how that split works? Because now you're the brokerage looking up top. Like, what tools would you provide the brokers or agents, and then how would you also recruit these agents and bring them in? Like, how'd that kind of look?
Well, it was actually pretty easy. I know this is not going to help you because this answer's like, for me, it just happened. So essentially for me, I looked at where I came from, and I was like, the environment I came from, the first environment I liked because I had guidance, and I was making money as an agent, and I didn't care about giving my split away. So I was like, okay, how can I make agents money? And that was my whole thing. I only want to work with people I want to work with. And so I was like, how can I build a badass sales team? And so for me, I was more or less like looking at agents that I worked with in the past that were struggling, and they were asking me for guidance anyways. And so I was like, just come work with me.
I'll show you my systems, everything.
So I had, and obviously when you have that, you have the CRMs built out. You have to have all those processes in place, so onboarding's easy, and they're not like, dude, this guy, like if you're especially if you're a smaller office, they're like kind of sketched out anyways, because you're like, oh God, like I'm transitioning my whole life to this guy.
So like if they come in the office, like if they're wondering what they should be doing, your system sucks. Like, they should know what they're doing.
They should know. They should walk in, and it should be an expectation. And everybody's like, oh, it's 1099, but I'm like, yeah, it is 1099, but I can determine whether you're with me or not. I know you're an independent contractor, but I cannot hold your license. So if you're not here at the 8 a.m. sales meeting, you get the fuck out. Like, that's how I ran it, and it was like, our first office was probably the size of this little sidewalk here. And we had 5 guys in there.
So everyone's on the lines.
Dude, we were just hammering, bro. Walking around, pacing the halls, like just hammering the phones, and that was expectations. And then, what I do very well is track all my data, and our CRMs did that, so I could look at salespeople and be like, look, you're doing great. You're making the number of calls you need to make, but you're only converting at a 3% conversion rate versus 7%. Let's work on how you're coming off. Let's work on your script. Or hey, you're converting a lot, but you're not calling enough. Like if you want your numbers up. So I was very good at that.
Because you had dialers, so you could actually track what's the real conversion rates and who's actually booking appointments.
Yeah, exactly. And I could listen to all of it. I would listen back.
Because it pre-records it, right? What dialer were you using then?
I was using Follow Up Boss.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a residential tool. And I don't know if
they're still around.
I know they're still around. I don't know if they do commercial or not. No. But yeah, the residential, it's a great tool. And so that's what we were using. But before I started building that team out, I do want to preface the one thing I did really, really well in the industry was I was never afraid to spend money on the tasks that didn't make me money. Right? So I would be like, I would look at my hourly activities and how do I produce the most in that hour, and that was calling. And going on listing appointments.
Because when you look at mailers and all this other branding shit, I mean, brand matters, but sometimes like what the fuck's gonna book appointments?
Yeah, what's gonna book appointments? What's gonna get me in front of sellers?
And that's like the cheat code of cold calling, which a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah, 100%. And then also too, I was not afraid of okay, hey, because I was booking a listing appointment a day at that point. So it's like some days I'd have 4 listing appointments, and so that's a lot of paperwork. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna hire someone to do this. I'm not doing this. So my day was literally 8 a.m. to noon call, 12 to 1 think, which a mentor told me was just think, decompress your brain, over a cigar or coffee or lunch. And then from 2 to 4, I'd prep for listing appointments, and then 4 to 7, I'd go on my appointments, and if I didn't have appointments, I'd call. I was punished. I didn't do anything else. If somebody called me about an agreement or a contract, about a signature, talk to Heather. She's my assistant. I don't even know.
When you made these jumps, and I'm curious myself because I'm going through I don't have any experience with scaling myself. So right now, like my Q1 core goal is to try and bring on and successfully kind of train someone. How much discretionary income and how much money were you spending out on your systems to have someone kind of jump in? Because a problem I'm running into is with commercial, a lot of the tools are way more expensive than residential.
Oh, 100%. I'm noticing that now.
Yeah, in residential, I could get a RedX dialer with the research program and everything that pulls your expires and everything.
$99 a month.
$99 a month. Here, I'm paying $300 a month for one thing, and that doesn't even does nothing. It's just Reonomy itself, fucking $430.
Yeah. No, it's $400.
That's one thing.
I spent $1,000 last week just on all that shit. So.
Yeah, right now myself, without getting accounts for other people, I'm carrying about $2K a month. So that's been a struggle. But so when you were a single agent, regardless if you're with first team, obviously it's probably minimum money because you're paying out a lot of splits. You're with the guy that you didn't like because he was just stoner, kind of lazy. Then you're on your own now, before you started the company. What'd you get your income into, and income after everything, true net? Forget about taxes.
Well, see, here's the thing. I will say as well. I was living in a 3-bedroom house with 3 dudes. So my rent was $500 a month, and I owned my car out.
Perfect.
Doing great. I owned my car outright.
Yeah. So you were low overhead too. Yeah.
I maybe spent $800 a month.
Yeah.
So and I was bringing in maybe $20,000 a month.
Okay. Cool.
And so everything went back in.
Yeah.
And if it didn't go back into the business, it went back into development.
Yeah.
So and I've never had a problem with spending money because I was always by myself.
Yeah.
So because I've bartended before, so I will preface that as well. When I was first getting started and I was waiting for those first checks to come in, I was bartending at night.
Yeah.
So I'd work all day, bartend at night, and then I had an agreement with the bar that I worked at, hey, if I have an appointment, I can't be here.
Yeah.
And they were cool with that.
That's cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So even in the beginning, you still had more than enough cash.
I was thinking $5K a month bartending.
Yeah.
And then I would just dial all day.
Yeah.
And then when I got to a point where I'm this just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Then I just quit bartending.
Yeah.
But I always knew I could go back.
Yeah.
To bartending. If I had to.
Did you find, was it hard for you to get people over to your, I guess because people are already asking you stuff, and the good thing about residential too, if someone has flawed systems in resi and they're making minimal money and then they come into your successful system, it shows results within the first month.
Right away.
They're going to make income.
Right away.
So they're going to stay.
Right away. Yeah.
Yeah, I know another thing with commercial that's a problem. It's even if someone knows what they're doing, they're really good, you're looking at 3 to 6 months for that first deal. I mean, depending on how hard you hammer it, deals fall apart and stuff like that. That's another challenge that I ran into. It's how do I keep someone committed, commission only, Where this first 6 months, they might not make a fucking dollar.
Yeah, they got to get a deal within there. They got to get something under contract in the first 30 days. That should be your goal.
Yeah, because now it's
their
like,
own
then
deal,
it starts a 3 month.
By the way,
their own
not
deal.
your deal.
Yeah,
because
then it starts
I
a
made
3
that
month
mistake.
timeline.
So, yeah, I made the mistake of, in the beginning, I literally was hand-holding so much.
Yeah, you were putting people on your deals, helping them do calls.
Dude, I gave them the whole commission.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want you to be successful.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You know, you can teach what is the saying? You can teach someone how to fish, but
yeah, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it or whatever.
That's what I was doing, and then they left me, and I'm like, I just gave you 40 grand, and you just left, you fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
so now it's like if they can't.
I didn't mean that.
Yeah, fucking pussies. Yeah. Yeah, if they can't, all right, that's important. So I need to be able to see, hey, can my guy actually? Yeah, I'm gonna have to coach him on the phones, but can he actually start to push for those meetings and push for the financials and push for the progress it on his own?
Yeah.
If I give him the tools.
You give him the tools, and you have to hold him accountable, and you know you yourself have to have a system in place to where it's like, just do this and don't do anything else.
Like I pretty much have the roadmap out.
Yeah. So like if I was coming to work for Armand, I would literally need to it'd be like a 9 to 5 regular employee, you know, and it'd be like, okay, I do A through Z every day.
So like if you're on
I
the
do
phones,
A through Z, I get this.
Yeah. So I should have like the roadmap. Hey, if you're on the phones, you hear this, start asking for these financials. Once you get these financials, start going to this. Once you underwrite it, start going to this.
Literally needs to be a step-by-step hand-holding process without you actually doing it.
Okay.
It needs to be written out.
Yeah.
Or video format.
My thought was doing a combination of written out and at each milestone or hurdle, I have a video explaining here's how I would say it and here's how you progress to the next thing, here's the objections you run into, and have that. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, like what I used to do too is like, you know, if they're going to work with you, or if they work remote, you can do this too. But like I have a dialer right now, and he's a sales guy. He was trying to do this for like a whole year on his own. He didn't get anything, and within 2 weeks, like he just got his first deal under contract, $110,000 assignment fee.
Wow.
But here's how I did it.
Yeah.
I told them, I said, hey, follow this step.
Yeah.
And if they're interested in selling, conference me.
Yeah.
And I will.
Yeah, let's cut the shit. Yeah.
Let's cut the shit.
Yeah.
I'll get this done for you in a way that you are still involved.
Yeah. And if they still get 20% of 100K, it's like 20 grand's a lot for the first fucking deal. Yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah, that's the power of commercial. That's a lot of people don't realize.
That's a third of his income now.
Yeah.
In one deal.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's kind of how I do it. So it's like, because they don't know the lingo, they don't know the language yet. They're still learning, or even if they do know the language, they don't do it your way.
Yeah.
So you still might have to be like, all right, hold on, like, put me in merge me in. Like,
especially with
this is my partner. He's going to take over, or this is my sales manager.
Yeah.
He's, you know, he'll take the call. He's CC'd in on everything. He's copied in on everything, and you guys work it together.
Yeah.
But because he still took the initiative to find that deal himself.
Yeah.
Don't do the, hey, I have a deal. You go ahead and take it.
Yeah.
Because if you get to source the deal, he's not learning how to source deals.
Yeah.
And
that's the most important part. You can always figure out everything else later on. If you have a deal, someone will underwrite it, someone will do find a buyer for you as long as you find the deal.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so like with this guy, I'm like, hey, like learn how to find the deals, and then I'll teach you how to put it all together.
Yeah.
Where before, as a residential broker, when I was bringing an agent on, I was like, hey, I found the deal, I showed the house, I put it under contract, like just baby it to the finish line, and you'll get the whole commission. Yeah. And that just
it didn't work.
It fucked her up.
Yeah. So to me that was a flaw in other street joining. Is like there was a lot of hand holding, and I noticed like that even slowed my own growth because I just wasn't cognitively thinking like, all right, how do I get more financials? How do I get more? We call it BOVs or whatever. But it's like BOVs is like, all right, potential seller that at least is willing to give you verbal financials or actual financials. The more BOVs you get, the more money you're gonna make.
100%.
And like I didn't because I got the hand holding almost stopped me like creatively thinking, well, how do I increase my BOV count? Fuck all this. Like I need BOV count to get up.
That's clearly the indicator.
That's clearly the indicator of how much money you make.
So you just do that math.
Yeah.
And that's what it all is anyway. So it's like, so that's how I would do it.
All right, not to hijack, because when we get into the mobile home parks, we'll talk a little bit more. But, all right, so you got the brokerage now. You scaled the brokerage to how many agents?
30.
Wow. So you had a whole fucking legit
we had an
company.
Army.
You had a fucking army. You took over your sector, whatever your region was.
So let me tell you a little business 101.
Okay.
And this, I wouldn't have done this if I didn't have a business partner who was making millions of dollars a year.
Yeah. Oh, so this was, and not to cut you off, before you get into it, digital marketing guy. So what was he kind of?
He was a business advisor.
Okay.
That got equity in my company because.
And none of your company was like Facebook ads and a bunch of bullshit like that. I'm sure there's never. Okay, cool.
No, we ran buyer ads to get
Just buyer leads.
Like Google PPC.
Build a database.
Yeah, I mean, we're spending, $10,000 a month on advertising.
Yeah.
But we weren't like, it wasn't like...
Yeah, you weren't like, oh, we're like some Facebook ad lead gen company.
No.
You were like legitimately, you're still cold calling based. Just, we're here to do fucking deals. We're doing business.
Yeah, we're doing 100% cold calling base. And then I decided that I wanted to bring on some more buyer reps, so we paid money to get buyer leads.
Cool.
So like, hey, are you thinking about buying a house this year? Yes, and then fill out these
so you had a whole army of buyers agents, sellers agents, and you had the whole thing.
Yeah. Cool. So we separated those. Yeah. Because I didn't have time to go on showings.
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck that.
Yeah. Your decision making role is way more important than fucking.
Yeah. So then that's how it kind of started. I was so overwhelmed with sellers. I was like, and then these people were like, hey, can you show me a house? And I'd be like, no, but this person can, and I'll take 50% of their commission. Yeah. So that's how that kind of started. And then it was like, hey, let's start running buyer ads and things. And they still have to hit the phones.
Yeah.
And so we were still like a phone-based company because it's still a lead is a lead, whether it's cold, it was just a little warmer.
Yeah, a little warmer, same shit.
Yeah, so they're still dialing every day. So this is what we did to scale really quickly. We were working it. My business partner had a tie with a person that worked with him at the digital marketing agency, kind of like a partner, but he wasn't equity. And he was like, hey, my wife sells real estate. And we live out in Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, there's a small brokerage out here with 20 agents.
Yeah.
Guys thinking about shutting it down. Okay.
Yeah, so you got...
Interesting. Next thing you know, I'm on a conference call and we're buying that brokerage for $150,000.
Wow. And instantly you're at...
Boom.
Now you're at the 30 agents.
I'm at 30 agents. We implement all of our systems, brand takeover, and we're running fucking full cylinders. Overnight, dude. And when I say overnight.
When you're at the...
So like Little Business 101, like... If you are in a position financially to do that, I look at the return on that, $100,000, and you can get an SBA loan on that, by the way. Yeah. Which we did, and we paid cash.
Yeah.
But like we bought 30 agents or 20 agents.
Yeah.
That didn't know how to make money.
Yeah.
So all I have to teach them is how to make money, which I had.
Yeah.
So we just implemented our brand and systems and our ad spend.
Yeah.
And then overnight, it's like we're making $100,000 a month.
Yeah.
As a company.
Yeah.
That's not take home, by the way.
Yeah.
Not take home.
Yeah, obviously, because you got ads.
The margins weren't great in residential.
Yeah, that's
it was like 20%.
Yeah, that's a problem
like
with
18%, 20%.
Yeah,
so I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm looking.
That's why I was curious. Like when you're getting to that level, doesn't it get to a point where you're spending so much money? Yeah, you have this huge company, but it's like your actual net money in your pocket probably wasn't as high compared to how much you scaled up.
22%. Like. So I got all this thing going. It was cool seeing $100,000 in the pipeline every month.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, we're gonna do $1 million this year. And then I'm like, where's all the fucking money at between my split with my partners, all the costs and stuff? I'm like, dude, I made $100,000.
Yeah, and then the problem, and I know, I know the problem. Yeah, the problem with like man-powered sales teams is like you can't sell that company at like a multiplier, really.
No, you can't unless you have the systems in place where you're not involved.
Yeah.
So like I was still the leading sales guy.
Yeah.
That was the issue.
Yeah.
If I could remove myself and I was just collecting income, mailbox money pretty much, and just as an executive.
Now it's a true sale.
On a board of directors.
Yeah, it's a multiplier.
Now it's a multiplier because
of the free cash flow.
Because the person who's buying is buying it on cash flow.
Yep.
So we probably could have sold it for $1 million or $2 million at that point. But if I would have been removed, but I was like one of the leading salespeople involved.
Yeah.
No owner wants to take that over because when I leave, the sales drop.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
All right. So that happens. When did you decide to? Okay, I'm going to shift from this, downsize everything, and make a huge shift into mobile home parks.
Yeah, dude. So.
I guess this is a better question. So you met Derek. Was your first bridge to mobile home parks, correct?
Yeah.
So you met Derek Vickers. I'm sure you're still doing the Resi brokerage at the time.
Yeah, dude. I met Derek when I was 21.
Okay. How old are you? You're 28 now.
So 7 years ago I met Derek.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You met him that long ago at 10X. That's crazy.
Get this, dude. So I'm sitting there at 10X. We're VIP, I think. I don't know. You'd have to confirm with Derek what ticket we were. No idea who he is.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize this was like a 7-8 year
relationship.
I thought you just came around with him. You guys were like, oh, a year ago.
No, dude. Like, hold on. I got something funny.
Yeah.
We text so much, so fuck, I don't know.
Damn, that's crazy. Okay, so I didn't realize there was an actual long progression to it. I thought it was like a quick, like you're just like, all right, after brokerage.
Yeah, dude. No, it was, yeah, bro.
Wow.
I found that photo 7 years ago. You can even put that on the screen if you want. But
send me that screenshot.
I was 20. I was 21, and dude, we're wearing. Look at the suit combo.
Yeah.
Fucking random.
Yeah.
That was the first day we met. Same suit combo and everything. But no. So Derek was. So I'm at 10X. And again, I found Cardone in college, so I was like Cardone, like I was listening to Young Hustlers every Thursday at 11 Eastern or 12 Eastern Standard Time, 11 Central Standard Time, which was my time zone. I was like in it. I was everything Cardone had to offer. I was doing like every book, everything sales. So that's how I ran my company. Was how Cardone did.
Yeah.
And so when he came around with the 10X Growth Conference when I was 21, I was like, dude, $5,000 for a conference? Like, are you fucking crazy? Like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
But I'm like, and so I could probably pull this. I called in on the show.
Oh,
I'm on the show. And I wanted to win the free ticket.
Yeah.
And so he was like, if you call in, you might get a free ticket, blah, blah. So I got through.
Did you call into Young Hustlers or to Real Estate Mondays? Who was it? Was it Jared Glenn?
Cardone's Zone.
Okay.
Cardone's Zone on Friday. Yeah.
Okay, so Cardone closed you on the phone?
Yeah, no, so get this. He embarrassed me on the phone.
Nice.
Fucking.
Dude, I might have actually listened to this. I might have actually listened to you call in. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, if we find that clip, I swear to God, I might have actually listened to you.
Yeah. And so I call in, and super quick, right? He was like, hey, he's like, Spencer, what's up, man? You come to the Growth Con?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, man, that's why I'm calling. I'm trying.
Yeah.
And he looked at dead in the camera, and he goes, trying?
Yeah.
He goes, I don't try to have sex with my wife every night. I just fucking do
it.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, my God. Yeah. And probably for like 24 hours, like, fuck that guy. He's an asshole. Like, made me feel so stupid.
Yeah.
The next morning I woke up, and he's like, dude, he's right. I'm being a bitch. I called the sales team. I was like, give me a $5,000 ticket.
Yeah, just fuck it,
And then I called in that next day. I got connected again. So it had been Young Hustlers Thursday, and then I called in on Cardone Zone again on Friday, and I got through.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, Grant, hey, Spencer. It's like, remember when you told me you don't try to have sex with your wife, you just do it? I was like, well, I just bought my fucking Growth Con ticket, so there you go. And he was like, let's fucking go. Like, it was a cool moment. So anyways, how I met Derek, sit down, I look over, fucking Derek Bicker sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, I'm Derek Aflac. And I'm like, dude, residential broker. Like, here's my fucking shitty business card. This is what I do. And dude, it was just like, we sat next to each other the entire time. Like, even though you could kind of sit wherever, we stayed next to each other. We were talking sales, business, and like, we just kicked it off. Like, we were just connected right away from that front, And then we just kind of like stayed in touch. Nothing like social media stayed in touch. We didn't like, I wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna come down and see you or anything like that.
But just you saw each other on Instagram or Facebook or
like
shit,
they commented like, oh, that's sick, dude, like, congrats, like, he's winning all these Aflac awards. I'm like, that's awesome. He likes always doing the brokerage business. That's awesome. So so that's kind of how like I met Derek. And then dude, and then like transitioning into that, the reason I decided to sell my brokerage, my portion, which I ended up meeting a guy in Colorado, because I'd go back frequently and ski and stuff, and he was a older gentleman, and he was from Europe, had a really fascinating story. Like, we hit it off, and really good guy, a professional hockey player, former professional hockey player in Europe. Talked to Switzerland money, like had the talk, right?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he's on hotels in Tampa, all this stuff, and all this, and Fort Myers, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, that's awesome. Like, I want to learn from you. Like, he's like, oh, I got, I've had over $100 million, blah, blah, blah. Just talking the talk.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, cool. And so I always had that connection. I knew him for like 5 years, and I was reading a book, and had my brokerage, and I was reading The Big Money Energy by Ryan Serhant.
Okay.
And it was like, if you want to increase your income or your wealth, you have to increase the circle you're around. So it was like, you got to be around wealthy people. And I'm like, oh, well, this guy, I talk to him regularly. So I called him up, and I was like, hey, dude, like, what's up? What have you been up to? And he's like, oh, like, COVID hit, like, there's distressed hotels in Florida. Like, we raised $100 million to go buy deals.
It's a Swiss guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, he's like, about 100, I'm working from private equities. Like, we're trying to find deals, like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, interesting. I'm like, okay, like, so if I send you a deal, would that be beneficial? And he's like, oh, definitely. And then a couple days go by. I'm just kind of like looking around. That's like when I'm introducing to Reonomy, like seeing like commercial software. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try that while I'm running my brokerage. And I didn't know how I'd get paid or anything. I just thought I could help. Yeah. And like, I didn't know about assignments or wholesaling or flipping or anything like that. I just figured, okay, if I like am involved, maybe I can get some equity. Because I knew like real estate Mondays, like, right? Like, that was my goal. So my whole goal was to make a lot of money so then I could buy real estate. Yeah. I didn't know you could like get in it without it. Yeah. We'll get there. Yeah. But yeah, dude, so I was working with this guy, and then he sends me a lead one day. Not a lead, but he says, hey, there's this, and I wish I could remember his name, but he's like, there's this guy, he owns the Shiloh Inn hotels. Okay. And you could look it up. Yeah. Mark Hemstreet, I think's his name. And he was like, hey, this guy, he looks like he's filing bankruptcy, could be an opportunity. Yeah. I had no way to get in touch with him. Well, I just fucking deal sourced that bitch. I went Google. I went Reonomy.
Yeah, whatever you do to find this
everything I
fucking
could.
guy.
I called every hotel he owned. He owned like 15 hotels on the
just
West Coast.
Trying to talk your way into someone giving
Yeah,
you a
like,
name.
hey, boom. And then all of a sudden I'm like on hold doing this, and I have like 2 phones going at a time, and I'm like, fuck. And then like within 6 hours, you have reached Mark Hem Street. Blah, 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 blah.
You got his direct number.
Fuck.
That's his direct line. I found him.
Shit. What are we gonna say? Okay. Hey, Mark, this is Spencer Davidson. I work with Uto Swiss AG. We have a $100 million fund. Hey, I just wanted to touch base, see if you might be interested in selling your portfolio or hotel portfolio. Fuck, whatever. Didn't hear anything back. 24 hours later, Oregon number pops up. He's from Oregon.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck, it's him. I'm like, hello. Yeah, you wanna? I'll take 80 million for it. You know, 2,000 keys, 80 million. Distressed. I'm like, oh shit. This is him.
It's a big fucking...
Fuck, okay. Like, okay. I'm like, yeah, sounds good. Let me get you in touch with my partner. Click. I have no idea.
You don't know what that
I don't know anything about hotel. I don't even know what a key is. Like, what do you mean key?
P&Ls, what's that?
Yeah, like, what's a key? Oh, that's doors. Units. Oh, okay. You know, I didn't know what that shit meant. What's the flag? What the fuck's a flag? Oh, the brand. Like, you know, I don't know. So then I called him and I was like, hey, I got Mark Hem Street on the other line. And he was like at a dinner party. He's like, holy fuck, for real? I'm like, yeah, he's on the other line on hold. He's like,
can you
he's like, and I just hear him going, Janet, and it was his wife, we gotta fucking go. Like, leave the dinner party, we gotta answer this call.
That's awesome.
So got him in touch. We tried to deal source it, didn't work out, blah, 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 blah. So that's kind of how I got into the like commercial. My introduction to commercial. And then like throughout, I was, you know, working on deals, had some deals under contract. They just ended up closing, and you know, the guy ended up not really being a player. You know, like he talked a big talk, but really
it wasn't a shark that's like, I'm gonna get this closed, let's get creative.
Yeah.
One of those guys.
No.
He's a little more established. He already had a portfolio. He's like, he
had a portfolio that he sold, so he's been out of the game for a while. He was trying to get back in it. And like, I think he was more of like somebody that like was playing this game of like, I want to get back into it. I don't know how. I like blew all my money kind of thing, and playing this front. And so anyways, he convinced me, though, he's like, look, if you want to make money like this, you want to do this, you have to move to Florida. Like, Florida's where it's at, blah, 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 blah. I took one trip to Orlando. I'm like, dude, he's right. Like, and during this time, you light 3 at a time. That's smart. That was my problem earlier. Like, I'm only lighting 1. But during this time, it was like, yeah, dude, you got to move to Florida. And my partners were like, dude, what are you doing? You're like, this is going down. Your stats are going down over here. Like, what the fuck's up?
Because you're not focused on the brokerage.
And I'm like, look, dude, here's the deal. Like, I'm trying to get into the real estate game, the commercial game. Like, you guys told me you wanted to scale to 100 offices. And, you know, now you don't want to. Like, they got content with where we were at. And I was like, so they stopped. My partners on the real estate brokerage were like, we're good, dude. Because they're chilling in Vegas. Like, they're making money already. It's just like a fun thing to do for them. And me, I'm like, this is my livelihood. Like, I always had the ambitions of building a $100 million company, sell it for $100 million, then buy a bunch of real estate, and then go raise and play that game. Like, right? So it's like, fuck, dude. Like, you know, so that kind of halted, and I was like, you know what? Fuck you guys. I quit. Like, sell me out. They're like, what? And I was like, yeah, cash me out. I'm done. I'm moving to Florida. And that's what happened. And so then I moved to Florida. I did some deals. One of the deals was pretty unique. This was still with that same guy. He lived in Panama City Beach for 30 areas, so I moved down that way with him, and I started
hotel deals.
So this was, he liked anything income producing. Income producing assets. So I learned a lot about like creative finance, bankruptcy through him, like because he liked distressed stuff. And so we had a marina under contract because a hurricane came through Panama City. That's why he was targeting there. Because
you can get a deal now because no one wants to buy there.
It's hurricane, like
desperate
distress.
sellers. That's where you get the creative deals.
Exactly. FEMA came through. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. So anyways, we tied up a marina, 30 boat slip marina with permits for 150 apartment buildings, or 150 unit apartment building we could build on. So we tied that up and had it under contract. And he's like, hey, we're gonna flip this contract. I was like, we're not gonna build? Like, fuck no, we're gonna flip it. I'm like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, here's the deal. And so we're going through DD, long ass contract, like a year long to close. Like, you know, that type. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? These sellers didn't know any better. And I'm sitting there and they were like, yeah, by the way, there's a judgment on the property. I was like, fuck. What the fuck kind of judgment? And this is kind of a crazy story, but they also own the Steak and Shake in town. Brand new built, the sellers. COVID hit, it bombed. And so they weren't paying rent. And so they had a triple net lease on a Steak and Shake at $18,000 a month. Now, if you know anything about the restaurant business, you need to be at like 5% or 6% gross. Dude, this was like 20%.
Yeah.
So they were getting fucked by this lease agreement. And so they weren't paying, and so the landlord threw a $2 million judgment against what they owned, which was the marina.
Yeah, because they had it all kind of just grouped together, commingled, because they're mom and
So
pops. So
I'm like, oh my God, we'll never close on this. And the guy at the time's like, oh, we got this.
Yeah.
He's like, we just picked up a restaurant for nothing. I said, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And he goes, you ran restaurants before, right? And I was like,
yeah. Yeah.
I was like, yeah. And he was like, exactly. And I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And he was like, here's what we're going to do. He's like, I'm going to call up that landlord because he's never going to get paid by these guys.
Yeah.
This property will never sell with this judgment. So he pulled some Mr. Miyagi shit and was like, look, dude, here's the deal. We'll pay you $5,000 a month and we'll take over the restaurant. And he goes, that's fine. I just need to get paid something.
Yeah.
Like, I got banks calling me for loans and shit. And he just covered my debt service, which was $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
And the sellers of the land was like, okay, hey, like, well, what are you going to pay us for the restaurant? He goes, nothing.
Yeah.
Give us the keys.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, give us keys.
Yeah.
Fucked.
Yeah.
You want to get sued for $2 million or not?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, God, no.
Yeah.
Like, the only way we'll close on the real estate is if we get the restaurant.
Yeah. So you guys picked up the restaurant.
Picked up the restaurant for
part of the
nothing. Dude, that thing cash flowed $20,000 a month.
Wow.
Like, nothing. So that was my first creative deal. But it was a restaurant. And so I just got tied up in that for like 6 months, 8 months. And I was like, dude, I don't want to run a restaurant. Like, that's not what I want to do. If I buy 100 of them, that's cool. But again, it came back to like the small thing.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, we're good. Like, I'm making income every month.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you're making $20,000. Like, where the fuck's mine? Like, and there's some financial shit. And I'm like, I'm running this place. I'm not getting paid. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I mean, I pulled like $8,000 a month. Like, but like, as a broker, I was making way more.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
And eventually it was like, fuck it, I'm out. Throwing it in, like, I'm done, like, I can't do this anymore. And I was like, I'm gonna go out on my own and figure this out.
But at least you learned, okay, there's like the level of creativity, real estate, the nuances
of deals.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. I'm a deal person.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'll own restaurants again.
Yeah.
I want to buy 100 restaurants. It's one of my goals. I could look at any business now and underwrite it and see if I want to buy it, like, if it's a good deal.
Yeah.
And so, like, it went in so much in like bankruptcies and debts and distressed assets, like the beauty of distress, like this, and it kind of circles back to the real estate brokerage we bought that was distressed.
Yeah.
You put in the right brand, the training, and the
and this ties perfectly into mom and pop mobile home parks. Like, you're kind of, now your knowledge base is really building on, well, how do we take a underperforming asset, make it performing? But you just didn't get the experience, the exit part of it yet, because you were getting shafted. But
I just had bad partnerships with the bad. I just.
But multiple times you're seeing, like, oh, creative. How do we fix like a cash flow problem? Get it cash flowing now. Stabilize asset. Now we could.
Now you can cash out, refi, all that stuff, right? And so, dude, and that's kind of where I transitioned into, like, screw it, I'm going to deal source myself. At the same time, I found out my girlfriend was pregnant. So I'm like, I have no income. I have little savings left.
And real bills.
Bills now. Kids do.
Yep.
So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to fucking do. I'm like, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not giving up on my dreams of building a real, like, I want to build $1 billion portfolio. I want to do all these things, but I'm like, I'm ground zero. Like, I don't know what to do. I have all this experience. Like, do I get my license here? Do I not get my license here? Like, that was kind of the conversation. Do I maybe sell real estate training courses online? So I kind of was like, maybe we try that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I need to pay bills. So I was like, okay, well, what do we do, Spencer? How can you make some money to support your family?
Yeah.
While you're trying to live out your dreams still?
Yeah.
Dude, fucking valeted cars, bro.
Yeah, all right.
All, like,
back to square one. Need some cash now.
$2,000 a month, like, cash tips at the nicest hotel in 30A.
Yeah.
I valeted cars, and what was cool about that was, like, I put myself in an environment where I was like, okay, I need to put myself around wealthy people again, and I need to feel it and touch my dream, like, because I was fading a little bit. Like,
so you had to get, like, I got to figure out another path. And
but I was fading. Like, I was like, is this just not for me?
Yeah.
Right? Can I not make money? Like, big money, right? My big dreams, is it just a farce? Like, is it not real? But, like, I was like, no, you need to be around money.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, what's that? And I was like, well, if I'm going to do valet at night from 5 to 11 p.m. midnight, like, I'm going to drive cars like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to park Lambos and Ferraris and Bentleys and feel it and touch it and get involved in it. And then at a 5 or 4-star before Diamond hotel, like, the two people are spending $2,000 a night. And so I kept my mind right by doing that instead of going to, like, work at a bar, some dingy bar, making $100 a month. So, like, if anybody's, like, struggling right now, I'd highly recommend, like, put yourself in an environment like that. So that's why I tell that story. But yeah, so then I deal source during the day. So I called from 8 a.m. to 5.
And what type of deals?
This is when I was kind of getting into the Pace Morby stuff.
Okay.
And I saw him picking up multifamily.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna start calling multifamily deals, see if I can pick them up in the Midwest, because I'm from the Midwest.
Like some shitty 8-unit.
Shitty 8-unit for no money down, like just take over, whatever creative deal I can come up with. That was my thought process. Had no idea about assignments. And so I'm just dialing away. I paid for reonomy. I was doing that, and I was making like $100,000 on pace for $100,000 parking cars. So I was like, okay, this is fine. And then I came across the mobile home park dude on my list, and I didn't know it was just on my list.
Yeah.
Mobile home RV park, 90 unit.
Okay.
I got him on the phone.
Yeah.
Wants to seller finance. He's answering all the right questions, but I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck to do.
What the fuck's a park on home?
Yeah, like, what is it, like, who's gonna buy this?
Like,
and then
wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah. I'm like,
I thought it was just sewers.
Yeah, like, what do you mean? Like, you know, oh, it's an RV park, but they stay there long term. Like, it's not a campground. Like, I don't understand. And it was, it's like I found this deal, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh fuck, Derek.
Yeah, and that was right when Derek was posting about mobile home parks, getting into that.
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
And I look at his bio, and it was like 38 parks, 2,000, just under 2,000 units.
And what year is this, or how long ago?
This is like a year ago.
Okay, so that's why I thought this whole boom was only a year ago, because it was like you just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that was the okay.
Yeah,
but that was the long bridge until.
Sorry, I didn't mean to extend that whole story.
No, the full story is what I wanted. So
okay,
perfect. Yeah, perfect. That's what I was curious about.
Yeah, and I hope we're okay on time.
Yeah. Oh no, dude, this goes 3.5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here to fucking hang.
Yeah, this is gonna be a long one. So yeah, I just wanted to preface that story. One, show everybody where I'm from, and so it's like, oh, where'd this guy come out of? But two,
and I think that's the most important thing, because it's like, especially to be in like a very specialized asset class like mobile home parks, like it's not just a simple just get in mobile home parks.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
and now a little more, but yeah.
Well, it's like I didn't get my MBA. You know, I didn't work as a commercial broker. I didn't work as an acquisition specialist for private equity, and then I just decided to go on my own. Like, no, dude, this has been a fucking grind, bro. And like that's why I tell that story. So like someday when I look back and I have the jet, the $1 billion portfolio, people can be like, oh, like it's hard.
Yeah.
Like he went through this, and that's where I'm at right now, so I can keep going.
Yeah.
Like don't quit.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell that story.
Yeah.
And it's emotional for me too, because like when you go through it, it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that's where I found that deal. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to underwrite it, but like he told me a price, and I was like, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
But I have no idea.
Yeah.
And we're still working the deal, so I'm not going to talk about it, like what the deal is.
Oh, okay. So it's still like
we're going to fucking
you guys.
Deal. We're getting this.
Where's
deal.
this at, by the way? Or just general state?
Panhandle.
Oh, it's in. Oh, okay.
My backyard.
I actually think I know which one you're talking about. I might know this.
Yeah. So we're like LOIs sent out, just working this guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, and.
All right, so you meet Derek.
Yeah.
Like,
So
Derek,
I'm known Derek.
Mobile home park.
Yeah, I was like, hey Derek, don't know what to do with this. Here you go.
Yeah.
And he calls me up, and he was like, dude, I like that deal.
Yeah.
I want that deal. He's like, how'd you find this? I'm like, oh, I'm just cold calling deals. Like, I want to buy multifamily stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to do with this. Here you go. And he was like, yeah. He's like, can you make an appointment?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. Let's set an appointment.
My bread and butter, baby.
Bread and butter, like, let's fucking go. We met there, met at the park, met with the owner, and had a great conversation. Yeah. And we literally drove 12 parks that day in the Panhandle. And I just rode in the truck with Derek, and he explained everything. And thankfully, with the Cardone, real estate Cardone, like I've been underwriting the whole 8 years I've been selling real estate.
Yeah, you're watching Real Estate Mondays.
I've been underwriting deals, and so my brain works very well with underwriting and numbers. So I can look at deals now in my head and do it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's this.
Yeah.
And so but I learned the mobile home parks, the difference between park owned, tenant owned. Derek with that whole structure, you can sell the homes, you can do this, right?
Yeah. And that's really that's what's awesome about the mobile home parks is like
so many
the added level. Yeah, there's like so many different ways you could underwrite growing the income, whether you're giving the homes away, or maybe you sell the homes for profit too, or maybe you do keep it park on homes until you get to a different level of rent, and then you start to sell them off. Yeah, there's a lot of that's like the really creative, because that's the creativity on top of the typical commercial creativity.
Yeah,
like that one little added component.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what I love about it too. It's like you can look at a deal, and I can look at a deal, and we can look at it in a completely different way.
Yeah.
And it's
both ways can make money.
Both ways can make money.
That was very interesting. That just to kind of tie it, like doing the webinars with Derek when we were kind of doing that just for like the 3 months.
Yeah,
he had a whole new perspective on like I always knew about giving away homes to tenants or selling them off cheap, fixer uppers and shit, but I didn't realize how viable that is in a very strong market like Florida. How like giving away a dilapidated home as a fixer upper with a couple free months lot rent is like a very viable strategy to infill like a ton of down units.
Yeah.
Which doesn't work in like smaller markets where it's like Midwest, which something I was never exposed to that until Derek really going. I was like,
handyman specialist.
Yeah.
But then you can increase lot rents that way.
So that's like a whole new underwriting edge I do when I'm doing pitches and stuff. On if it's in a strong market, I always think all right, well, there's going to be infill costs, but sometimes you can do the handyman special if it's in like a really high median home price market, because people will really do that and spend the $20K themselves to rehab it because it's cheaper than buying a $250,000 house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you keep your lot rents high.
Yep.
And so I was like learning all of that.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, dude, I'm like we're the guys that went like from $500 to $995 a month. I'm like, bro. He's like, rip the fucking band.
If they're gonna leave, they're gonna leave. You're either getting the market or you're not.
So yeah, dude. And then I spent I'm talking and I became a good soundboard for Derek because and he'll tell you this too. Every deal he had, he ran it by me.
Yeah.
And that's when I started that relationship really started flourishing. Even if it was sent by you.
What Derek tell you, Derek talks highly of you all the time. That's why I really wanted to meet you and shit.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it was because I provide that other angle too of I will tell him if it's a bad deal. I'm honest with him. I'm not a lot of people will look at it. Derek, he's got just under 2,000 pads and $100 million portfolio, whatever. And be kiss his ass, how can I get in a deal? I'll do whatever it takes. But I'm like, dude, that's a shit deal.
Yeah.
It doesn't pencil. What are you thinking? Help me understand.
Yeah.
And then I'm a sounding board for him. So even if a deal that, let's say you sent him as a broker or a broker sent him, he would still call me.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't the acquisitions guy on it. Even though I didn't find it, he would still call me and be like, hey, what do you think of this? And we would go through it.
What did you think about Lake Alfred?
I liked it.
I liked it too. I'm
the two houses, it's too small, the houses, but I think it's a great deal for somebody.
Yeah.
Especially with seller financing. I would have done that deal.
Yeah.
I could have signed that deal too.
Yeah.
I know there's too many people.
We definitely could have assigned it higher too, but I'm trying to keep my feet, you know what I'm saying? Unless if you thought we could have assigned it for an extra $150K, that would have been something different. But
What'd you get? Or can you not say?
I could say $975.
Right, for the price?
Yeah.
What'd you sign it at?
No, so we got 45 fee.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
that's good. Yeah, I mean that's a good fee.
It's not big, but I was because the resi agent brought it to me, and I'm like, let's just get it moved because it's he's excited to get it done. I'm like, I already know this guy's the buyer. Let's just get one done. And it's now he might be the first guy that I bring on. He called me today. He was like, I really want to.
Well, he clearly knows what to do.
Yeah, and I'm like, you did the right thing. You read my book without me telling you to do it.
Yeah.
And he did it.
Dude, yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is the first time I can actually hire somebody who's about it. He's already kind of been in residential wholesaling, and I'm like,
this guy, that's perfect.
You see, he's like, dude, I can't believe if it closes, which I think it will, because seller finance short timeline, but him getting a $20,000 check, half the fee is
changed a lot, bro.
Yeah, because he's like, dude, usually I get a 2K fee. I'm happy to get a 5K. I'm like, well, 20K is tiny for fucking mobile home parks. That's a tiny fee.
Yeah, so, dude, it's
welcome to the big leagues.
Yeah, welcome to the fucking money, bro. And it's so funny too, because not to go on this little theory, but I always have this in that craziness of a story that I just told, and if listeners are still listening and they're not damn dude, this is too long, but I did sell timeshare presentations for a minute. You know those guys in the mall that hound you?
Yep.
I was like, fuck, I got timeshared into timeshare sales. If that makes sense? Because someone's like, oh, you can make $300,000 for a club window. I'm like, what is this? Same as a residential agent shit, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, this is what you do. You sit outside the mall and you sell timeshare appointments. I'm a sales guy. I killed it.
Yeah.
But I made $100 a deal.
Yeah.
I do.
And it's grimy too. You know it's a bad deal, but
I'm like, bro, I'm sending you up there for 3 hours. I'm giving you all these cruises and shit, but this is bullshit. I don't believe in it. I don't feel good about it.
Yeah.
But for a couple months there, I was the top guy, or one of the top 3,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay. I'm like, but I made $5,000 doing it. I'm like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
I was like, and I was so pissed because everybody's like, why? What's your attitude so bad? I'm like, dude, I used to do deals for I used to make $50K a month.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Fuck
why are you
you.
here then? Yeah.
Yeah, why are you here? Why are you here? Yeah, you didn't. Whatever.
Dude, dude. People who aren't business people don't understand there's a lot of resetting in business.
Well, yeah, because you reset your goals.
Yeah.
And because every time I did a reset, it's because I was going bigger.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking big enough.
Yeah.
And so now I'm in a position where it's okay, I'm in my lane.
Yeah.
I've been searching for that lane, that right vehicle, right, that Grant talks about. But to kind of finish that theory is okay, if you're a salesperson right now and you're selling shoes and you're making a commission on that, it's the exact same thing as selling a product for $100,000. Making a $100,000 fee. It's the same fucking thing.
The same thing. Just
you
what's the deal size?
Change your think.
Yeah.
The only thing that's stopping you is your think.
Yeah.
Now, Obviously, what I do now, I need to know how to obviously deal source. So like anybody else,
you have to underwrite. You have to make sure.
You have to understand financials. You have to know what a good deal is.
You got to know how
language. There's nuance.
Yeah, you got to know like, all right, if it's a 30% down payment to the seller, well, that 100K fee is essentially making it 40% down payment.
So it's cash to close.
Plays into the underwriting.
So the nuances are different, right? You have to learn a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I guess what I want to get across to people watching is like, if you're in sales and you're selling a $100 product, or like my dad's in car sales, he sells like 40, 50 cars a month, and he gets like $500-600 a car.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, I just don't understand how you get $100,000 on one deal. And I'm like, well, this is how.
Yeah, and perfect. And to your point earlier, like this guy Josh is his name, and how he found this mobile home park. It was like he didn't know anything. If you could find a deal, the money's different. So just start chasing bigger shit. And look at that, he's already getting a 4x deal than his biggest deal. Yeah.
And it's funny is it's easier.
Yeah.
In the sense of like dealing with
sophisticated guys,
buyers.
Yeah,
like
sophisticated buyers. There's less bullshit.
Because when I'm selling a house for $200,000, it's emotion.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see my kids here. I can see my dog can play in that yard with the fence. Oh my God! So you have to play into that.
Yeah.
With investors, it's like, does it underwrite or does it not? Is it a good deal or is it a bad deal? I literally will send a couple texts and it's like, yep, we'll take it. Boom, thumbs up, champagne bottle, bam, like close it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Now it obviously, we go in the systems and processes and all that.
It's a lot more complicated, but still.
But you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Like it's literally that of a conversation rather than like having to play an emotion or this or that. So, but dude, that's kind of how that started. And I got it with Derek, and we've been soundboarding. I've been a soundboard for him, and now it's like, that's just I don't know if you want me to go into wholesaling, how I get into that. But.
Yeah, I want to talk about going into wholesaling, because my questions were going to be about wholesaling approach versus brokerage approach and like the pros and cons. So, all right, so now.
Yeah, so.
You know about assignments though at this point?
No.
Oh, not really.
No.
You just heard of it once, but you didn't. Yeah,
we didn't know
the actual.
I just heard like, hey, because when Derek came up about the park, he was like, yeah, you'll get an acquisition fee. Like, I'll pay you. Like, no problem.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, do I have to be a broker for that? And he's like, fuck no.
Yeah,
like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I made $600K in acquisition fees last year.
Yeah.
And, when he bought all those parks, like, no. I'm like, okay. He's like, and you get equity, and if you're equity, or if you want to roll your fee into equity, whatever. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, that's sick. Like, awesome. And so we were, I'm just like, okay, well, I'll continue like dialing and stuff, and I'm still parking cars, whatever. And then I found this deal in Panama City, and I'm like, hey, Derek, like, this is a super small 8-part deal, park-owned homes.
Yeah, it's the 8 unit. I remember.
Yeah.
This is like 8 months ago, right?
Yeah. And it was like $400,000. I got them down to, and this is one of my strategies. Like, I got them at 400, and this was a residential strategy too. I get the buyer to confirm at the price with my fee, and then I go back for more harder negotiations.
Yep.
So like
wholesaler special.
So I was like, hey, Derek, I was like, I don't know what to do with this. And he was like, it's like, I want that shit.
Yeah.
Can
I do one more hot tea?
One more hot tea?
Yeah. Thank you. You need anything?
I'm good. I gotta catch up on the cigars though.
Yeah.
Talking to you. But yeah, I was like, Derek, do you want this thing? He's like, oh, that's too small for me. Like, I don't want that shit. I'm like, do you know anybody that would want it? I'm like, it's like, I was like, personally, I thought I was gonna try to strike it myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, I'll get in the game. And he was like, oh, I might know somebody. I'm like, interesting. I'm like, well, he's like, what's the price? I'm like, 400.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, we'll slap a fee in there and see about like the assigning the contract.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
What was the, if you don't mind me asking, what was the original fee, and then what were you able to retrade to get?
Yeah, so this one was a $50,000 fee. So I got
That's good on a 40K deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, just wait.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna go into it.
Okay. So you hit this one over the head.
No, I got way bigger fees than that on smaller deals.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, $400K deal. I negotiated them down to $350.
Yeah.
Seller financing, it's a little like $100K down.
Yeah.
And then 5-year balloon, whatever. And fee was $50K, and the guy was like, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
all right, let's see if I can get another 50.
holy shit! Like, you just made $50,000 like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, Derek's like, oh wow, that's awesome. I was like, Derek, we'll split this 50-50.
Yeah.
Like, appreciate you doing this. Like, I'm gonna do this for you. And he's like, oh, cool. And I was like, oh man, I was like, do you think we could do this again?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, why not?
Yeah.
Next day, I found another deal. Hey, and he was like, well, this deal is a little bit bigger. Try to get like a $70,000 fee.
Yeah.
Okay. Boom. Buyer's like, yeah, I'll take it. Oh shit. Okay. I found another buyer. I'll take it. Oh wow. Okay. Cool. Then I found another deal like 3 weeks later, and it was.
That's also
$80,000 fee.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, this is and me and Derek are like, this is a business.
Yeah.
And that's how we get liquidity.
And that's also the pro of doing, so from my side of things, right? So typical transaction size is like the smaller private equity guys, right? And the smaller syndicators. So usually like, I'd say 50 to 120 units.
Mm-hmm.
And something I realized, and you're basically doing what my theory was like a year ago, which makes me kind of want to, just look at more smaller deals in a more creative way.
Yeah.
Is that at the larger levels, there's less. They don't want to go through wholesalers.
Yeah. I figured.
Because they don't want to. Basically, they want to have more control of the deal.
Yeah, of course.
And then, like your fees are always smaller on the brokerage side because you can't do the retrade and keep the retrade.
Right.
I noticed with the smaller deals, there's more spread for there to be a disparity between its true market value and not, and there's a higher likelihood you could do the wholesale game and renegotiate harder fees for yourself.
Yeah.
So like you can never get to a 10% fee on a $1.5 million deal, or it's unlikely.
It's unlikely.
It's less. It's hard. Or on a $5 million deal, it's hard to get 10%. But like when you're looking at a 15% fee on a $300K deal, that's $100K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I could take it as equity.
Yeah. Or as equity, you roll it in.
Or do both, whatever, And so that's 100%. And that's kind of where I found that niche was like a little bit smaller stuff. But it was on accident. It wasn't because I wasn't calling bigger stuff too.
Yeah.
It was just like Derek's like, no, I want the big stuff.
Yeah.
Oops. I want the big stuff. So I was like, oh, so here's our business model.
Yeah.
It's really fucking simple, guys.
Yeah.
I find deals. We buy deals. If we don't want to buy it, we fucking assign them. That simple.
Yep.
And we take the cash from assigning to buy
more.
more.
Buy more, yep.
Like, that is my business model.
Yep.
That simple. And so that's kind of how I got into that. But like I've had deals, like I've had portfolio, a total of like 50 units, but it's like 15, like 4, 15 or...
Yeah, like a 13 unit and 18 unit.
Yeah. And like, I've had it under at a 10%, $250,000 deal, or assignment fee.
Yeah.
Fail out inspections, things like that. That happens.
Shit,
that's the one thing.
That's the only thing that sucks about commercial, bro. You get 4 months into something, it falls out. It's like,
fuck. So that's just. But that's again being trained in the real estate industry. It's like you don't count it until it's in the bank, right? Yeah. So like, and you can't get emotional about it. I did for a minute because I was like, dude, I got 7 figures in assignment fees under, but then like a couple fall out, and you're like, dang, But like, for me, what I found as someone who's in the I'd call myself, like, I know wholesaling and assignment's kind of the same, but I'm not double closing. I'm just assigning the contract.
Yeah. Question on the specifics for assigning. Are you working with title companies that'll do like a separate settlement statement for buyer and seller so that way the seller doesn't see your fee? Or are you talking to your seller, we might have signed this already?
It's in the contract.
I know it's in the contract, but...
No, they don't. Like, at that point,
they haven't questioned it?
No, they have.
Okay.
They're like, what's this fee?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, look, here's the deal. Like
you said you wanted this number, I got you your number.
Well, yeah, I do that. And I'm like, look, you signed up on the assignment clause.
Yep.
It gives me the right to assign the contract. Now, how I work is I either take a fee or I take equity in the deal as a limited partner. So it just depends. On this deal, I decided to take a fee. So that's kind of how I word that.
Okay.
Right now, but again, if it's a good deal, I might take equity.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but I'm not on the operating agreement.
Yep.
I'm not a GP.
Yep.
So no investor is going to be on. If they're not a GP, they're not on the operating agreement anyways at closing.
Yep.
So like, it doesn't matter. So I tell them, I'm like, look, it's I either take a fee or equity.
Yeah.
Like, or I take both.
Yeah.
Or that's how that works. So
it's like you got your number. That's it.
And when it's 3 days before closing and they see that fee on there, you want to close this or not?
Yeah. Have you run into like any really tough ones, like where they were almost about to back?
No, just pushing back on the assignability clause.
Yeah, because you know why though? It's because a lot of people. So you guys understand how to underwrite, and you're not going to get someone under contract where there really probably isn't some type of spread you can make a fee.
Oh yeah.
The problem is you have these bad wholesalers that will tie it up for more than it's worth, and then they'll drag them on for 6 months and drop the contract, and that's what people are pushing back on the assignment.
Yeah, 100%, and that's what they tell me.
Yeah, even on the brokerage deals, like the assignability will literally be in there because this large group doesn't have their LLC set up for that property yet, so they have to sign it in.
Well,
and I have to explain that to sellers now because they've been burned by bad wholesalers.
And that's what I tell them too. It's like, look, this is my personal LLC.
Yeah, we're going to set up a different
LLC for the company. Yeah, and they understand that. And then
I happen to take $70K.
Yeah, fuck. Shit. Sorry. Like, god dang, guys got to eat. And I had to explain too. I was like, look, guys. I have an acquisitions team. I have managers. Like, I have people I have to pay. Salaries I have to pay. Like, and that's all true. Like, I don't lie to these people. You know, and then it's either a fee or equity, and that's how I explain it. And sometimes deals just at the end of the day, I just don't want equity in the deal, so I take a fee and blah blah blah, and that's how I make a living.
Yeah, I actually think there's more money in fees than taking equity, because I think some of these deals are tough to make sense of.
Yeah, well, that's what I do, you know, and so, but like I said, like that's where again my business model. It's like if we want to buy it, I still get a fee. I just roll that.
Only
back.
keep the best deals and let's fee the rest.
Yeah, fee the rest, and not only the best deals, but like because I don't. So here's how it goes too. Like we're a typical wholesaler, like you said, will tie it up for 6 months. And I understand their pain point.
Yeah.
But like I have that deal assigned before I put it under contract.
Yep, same. That's how I do
Pretty
it.
much.
The ones
And like if that deal isn't assigned, and the sellers or if that deal is a good to go and the seller all of a sudden backs out, like my buyers understand.
Yeah.
Like we'll figure it out to try and save it. But like if they back out, my buyers are like, hey, no big deal.
Yeah.
Like we'll call them back.
Yeah.
Like I'll call them back. You know what I'm saying? But like I don't go commit, because here's the deal. I don't tie up a contract to then go 6 months marketing the property and doing all this shit. What I do is I have a 5-day EMD period.
Yep.
I have a 75-day close, sometimes 60-day close, 30-day DD, 20 days to fund, or 30 days to fund. So like so when they are like, well, signability clause, I said, dude, you're gonna wholesale it, bro. I have 60 days.
Yeah.
You think I'm gonna wholesale this in 60 days? No. We're good. We're ready to go. And so like that really versus like 180. Like I've heard people be like, oh, this person wanted a 180-day contract. I'm like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, they're not buyers.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, and then so like that's just kind of how I built my business.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like there's a few newer, or not newer, but less experienced wholesalers in the game that like reach out to me for like help, and I'm like, dude, like from talking through the numbers, getting the financials, getting them an LOI or just some type of verbal acceptance, then getting the contract and some back and forth on the contract, you had like 3 or 4 weeks to find a buyer.
100%.
Before contract. It's like
100%.
If you have a deal and no one wanted it in 4 weeks,
there's not a deal.
It's not a deal.
Yeah, not a deal.
I'm like, why'd you even tie this up? I'm like, stop wasting your time.
It's
Kick it
stupid.
to, like
Why'd you
either
just-
try and negotiate better, understand how to underwrite, or just move on.
Yeah, dude. And like
I like that. See, that's because you actually understand the deal, though. There's so many wholesalers that don't understand how deals work.
Well, that's the thing. Like, and the other thing why I'm doing a lot, and I won't say I want to do a lot more deals than I'm doing now, and I'm working on that. But like the reason I've done a decent amount of deals so far is because like I'm not assigning anything. Like and the reason I can get a 10% fee on a deal is because I'm getting it under contract at a fucking 11 cap.
Yeah.
Like a true 11% cash on cash return.
Yeah.
Or cap rate even cap, just general cap rate with seller finance. What you know.
Yeah.
And
so it's like if you're gonna go sign it at an 8 cap, it's fucking big spread.
The spread.
Yeah.
It's a deal.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They want their, want their 9 cap. You know, in this market, 9.5, 8.5. If it's an 8.5 or above, they're like, they love me.
Yep.
And especially if there's an opportunity to do certain things on the creative side, like, hey, we're going to sell all our homes off that are park owned for $20K a piece.
Yep.
And I can let them know what the comps are in that market.
Yep.
Like, hey, dude, like, you can sell this home off for $20K, $15K, $5K, and you can lower your cash base. Like, I'm learning, when I learned that shit, I'm like, dude, now I can pitch a deal that might not make sense, that will make sense, and I can still get the fee.
And that was something that's actually kind of new. So 3 to 4 years when I first got into MHPs, people weren't valuing how you could sell off the homes for profit. Like, that wasn't a thing. And now, because everyone was just like, lot rents, we only underwrite on lot rents.
Yeah.
But now people are realizing, like, hey, if this home could sell for $70K, it's worth $30K to you at least.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the thing is not only that, but like, so when I'm underwriting a deal, and we can even do like a whole segment on underwriting deals and stuff. But like the way I look at it too is like if they're park owned, I'm like, okay, well, the purchase. Let's say we have 20 homes.
Yeah.
And this is off my head, so like if my math is a little bit off, guys, like fuck you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing it in my head.
Yeah, we're fucking 2 cigars down.
Yeah.
Chillax,
Yeah.
Right? They'll be like, he doesn't know it.
He doesn't know the number's not quite right. Like fuck off.
Yeah. How many fees you do last night?
So let's say we have 20 homes. Let's say we have 20 homes in a park, 10 are park owned.
Yeah.
Okay. Deal's $1 million, $50,000 a pad. Okay. So 10 are collecting lot rent.
He's in Florida, by the way, for all you Midwest guys.
Yeah, Florida, way better market.
They're like $50K a pad. I'd never.
I would, dude.
It's like you should see some institutional deals. $150 a pad in St. Petersburg.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like so. Anyways, 20 park owned. Let's say 20 homes, 10 are park owned. Deal's $1 million.
Yeah.
I know in that market you could sell a home for $30,000.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it for seller financing terms at $300K down.
Yeah.
Let's say you need to bring an extra $50K or $100K for cash reserves in case shit happens. By the way, make sure you're underwriting cash reserves in there. You don't only just bring your down payment money to a closing table like fucking idiots.
Yeah.
FYI.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I bring 400 to the table. I have 10 park-owned homes I can sell for $30K. I underwrite that. It's lowering my cash base. If I sell every home for $30K, whether I RTO them or not, the value's $30K. My cash basis on that deal is $100K.
Yep.
So for that investor, that cash-on-cash return,
super high. Yeah.
You know, I'm in it for $100K. My lot rents are $500 a piece. I'm getting $10K a month times 20, or I mean, $500 a month times 20, $10K a month, $120K gross minus expenses. Let's say I'm at $60K, and I'm in it for $100. Fuck.
Yeah.
I present it that way.
Yeah, look at
I present it that way.
Yeah.
And then I tack on my fee on there, blah blah blah. So it's like cash on cash
like
is
return
insane.
of capital in a year and a half. Like,
now,
come on, assholes.
And people that have done this.
Yeah.
And the buyers that actually buy deals, by the way, there's the people that actually buy, they understand that.
Yeah.
And they know it'll take a year,
year
and a half to sell them all off. They might RTO some at $1,100-$1,200. But I can explain that to them. They can see that.
Because you understand the deal.
You understand the deal.
Which other wholesalers don't get.
And that's what you need to do.
And the worst is like, dude, talking to unsophisticated buyers who don't know how to underwrite, and they're like, dude, this is so overpriced. It's like, oh, you don't get it. Like,
dude, we have a Facebook group. You're part of it.
Yeah.
Dude,
dude, the people posting there, it's like I almost want to tell them, like, you posting how you can't find how everything's overpriced to you is telling me you just don't know how to underwrite.
Well, did you see that guy that one? I don't know if you saw that one gal talk about like a $250,000 and that guy had like a 6-paragraph fucking
all these
way overpriced.
Way overpriced. No one would pay this price per pad. It's like, dude, you just don't understand.
Yeah, I wanted to be like, do you even own a park?
Yeah. It's like, how many deals you closed in the last 5 years?
Like,
the worst is like some dickhead mom and pop who's got like 5 parks in some tertiary town who bought them 10 years ago. He's like, dude, everything's overpriced. I'd never pay over $35 a pad. It's like, all right, cool. Like, keep not buying deals then.
Sign up for the Frank and Dave course.
Yeah. Sign up for the Frank and Dave. Exactly.
Like, we're making all, like, and that's where Derek kind of really opened my eyes. He's like, people think we're nuts for paying $50 a pad 4 years ago. Now it's worth $100.
Yeah, Derek was ahead of the curve. Him and there's really like 3 main guys I feel like in Florida that were
kind of ahead of that.
Especially taking on the smaller, rougher parks, because Derek with his strategies too about like how he aggressively turns the homes over and in exchange for like getting the rents to market and stuff. That like people weren't doing that aggressive of an approach. And broker and wholesaling stuff in the Midwest. People out there don't get that yet.
No. Well, it's hard because there's not I don't know what the demand, like I don't do a lot in the Midwest, but like I don't know what the
demand's less. Like you're not going to get 200 hits on an ad.
No.
Here you get, the first 2 days you get 150 people reaching out for them. So,
but
it's different.
Yeah. And
but in the major MSAs, so there's a deal that I sold that actually closes, the one that's closing next week I was telling you about. So that's in Winston-Salem, which is
I love
booming market.
Yeah. Market.
And that was one where it was like all park-owned homes, below market rents. Like the whole total home rent was pretty much the lot rent for the market. And it's like everyone's it's park-owned home. There's one lot renter at 200, so I'm running my numbers at 200. I'm like, dude, it's a 450 lot rent market. The homes are 450. Just give the fuckers away. It's all lot rent. It's like, what do you mean you can't get this finance? If you had any intelligence, you could explain this.
You give all the titles.
Give all the titles.
You have the titles. You give them all to the tenants. And here's the other thing: like you give them all to the tenants.
Yeah.
You just lowered your expenses by fucking 20%.
But 20, yeah. So to give you an idea, I sold record-breaking 55 a pad. Winston-Salem.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's like a 35-40 a pad market.
Good job.
And for only a 26-unit
park. I remember that deal.
Yeah, the Winston-Salem way. It didn't really make sense, but the guy who bought it, he has like he owns like 4 similar sized parks literally within 10 minutes, so it plugs right in. He doesn't give a shit about parking overnight. He's like, price per pad, I'm in.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and that's the thing too. Like what buyers don't understand is like, and wholesale, like price per pad is the... Yeah, dude, it's people will buy on price per pad versus if it makes sense.
Yeah, because the intelligent guys, it's like, all right, we know that the market supports this. Thank you. They know like the market supports this price per pad, so it's really just like, sorry, we moved the chairs around a little bit over there. But yeah, it's like all you have to do is understand the price per pads the market supports. You have to figure out the strategy to get it there.
Yeah.
And if you could do that within the first year and get return of capital, then the deal makes sense.
Yeah, like I think that deal in the South Carolina that lady was talking about was like 850 park owned.
Yeah.
Lot rents are 150. I'm like, and the guy's like, it's overpriced at $30K a pad. I'm like, I could have signed that no problem because the way I look at it is if someone's willing to pay $850 to live in a mobile home, they'll pay $500.
They'll pay more than $150 a month.
Yeah. Give them the home.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
$600 a month lot rent.
Boom. If you net effectively did a 300%,
or if you want to increase the income, RTO it, allocate, but then you got to allocate the lot rent at $700,
yep,
$600,
yep.
And you're getting $500 a month park on rent.
Yeah,
towards
and you literally tell them like, hey, you'll pay the same amount, you'll own the home, and you can make payments, and you're actually building equity in your home. Like,
but on the numbers, but the finances, now your lot rent's $500.
Yep. Yep.
That's why I love deals.
I love this. That's what I love about the mobile home park.
I love deals,
like,
bro.
Yeah,
I just love deals, man. And if you don't have the stomach for, like, if you just can't figure this stuff out, and it takes brain power. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know, and I think that's why, to be honest, a lot of MBA guys end up doing what we're doing because it does take that brain power. We just decided not to spend $250K to get an MBA. Yeah. So like, I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I'm realizing. I'm realizing that like with the course stuff I'm doing and teaching some people that really just don't understand like the math and like they don't understand the deal, and it's just not something that clicks in their head.
Yeah, man. I mean,
it doesn't mean they can't be a good acquisition guy and fucking hammer the phones. That's the crazy thing,
dude. Yeah,
you could actually be brain dead and just hammer the phones and still make good money. Like, you're never going to be the guy who's negotiating 100K.
That's what my VAs do.
Yeah.
They and not, they're great people. I'm not saying they're brain dead. I didn't mean it like that, but I just meant like my VAs. They call, and what I tell them is like, if they if they raise their hand, meaning
get me on the line. That's it.
If the seller's like, I'm interested.
Yeah.
Fucking send it to me. I'll close it.
Patch me in, baby.
Yeah. That's all you got to do. But like, you guys that have these VAs calling for you, and if you're not willing to call yourself, and you're not instructing them on how to call, like, you're destroying your reputation in your business because these guys they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Derek patches me in all the time on, like, Derek patches me in all the time on like conversations like VAs call him.
Yeah.
Would you sell this park? No.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah. Like, it's like, all right, come on. Like,
I'm like, is that how our guys sound? So then we'll like pretend to like, Derek will be like, hey, to one of our guys, Byron, like, hey, Byron, you call this number. It's a lead. And then I listen, and I'm like acting like I'm some park owner in North Carolina or whatever. I need to know what he's saying, and I'm like, okay, no, our guy's good. Like, he's good. Yeah, because I train him.
All right. Questions on specifics about like processes and everything. So Reonomy is like your main source for numbers as of now.
Yes.
And then, like, the struggle I found with so I was doing a dialer thing for a little bit. I didn't see a huge ROI. Now, if I'm trying to scale and monitor a whole team, I think I might switch my mind now, because I want to see their call count, record it, see who has like good conversion rates and everything. But like, I found, obviously, the hard part about commercial is there's the added component of like finding the actual phone numbers of the owners, because it's always behind an LLC, this company or whatever.
On the big stuff.
Yeah, on the big. You're doing the mom and pop 12 unit.
Yeah.
That solves that fucking problem.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, because everything fucking.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna say like, the problem I found.
Anybody that signs up for a month's course now, you gotta fucking owe me like $10K.
Yeah, there you go.
They're raising the price.
So my thing is that like doing a big Reonomy pull, I got all these park addresses, but when I pull a big call list, the call conversion, like the call reach rate is so low that even if you're ripping 400 dials, you're better off one by one individual research and focus on
I agree on that.
But that's
for the big stuff. For the big stuff, I do that. For the stuff that Derek and I are buying, I go
25 unit mom and pop to the first number on there.
One of the first four.
Yeah, one of the first four. You just fucking dial that bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, if it's an LLC though, like, and it's a good park, I'll take the time though. Like, I will like open up a Google page. Yeah. You can find it.
Yeah.
Dude,
I gotta get you on because I know you're not using it now, but what do you use for the phone number if you're doing the in-depth research?
Meaning?
You're like actually researching this one. You're finding who owns the company or the LLC, and then whatever, and you got to find that person's direct sell. It's not on Reonomy. Like, what's your troubleshooting?
What's my go-to?
Yeah.
Dude, I've got like 3 monitors set up, so I'm just like, I have Google Sheets spread open. Like, I'll go to LinkedIn if I have to. Like, I just.
Yeah, you're creative with it. See, you're smart and creative with it.
I just research the fuck out of it, dude. Until and if I get their assistant on the line.
You'll talk your way to it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just find it.
Yeah.
Like, it was funny because, again, it comes back to like that Mark Hemstreet guy.
Yeah.
You know, when I was buying, the hotel stuff. It's like, you just find it. Like, go fucking find it. Quit being a bitch. Like, that's the biggest thing that so many people are. They're just afraid to dial, so they come up with all these excuses. So they're really afraid of the phone call. So they're like, oh, I can't find the number. It's like, no, you didn't even try.
Yeah.
And like, dude, I was driving, like I told this story on our last podcast with Derek, but like we were driving in, I think we were in Vero Beach, and we were driving around a park. We got a lead, and we're like, oh, cool. Like, we'll take a look at it, blah, blah, blah. We're like, oh, this park sucks.
Yeah.
And we were driving by a park. I said, hey, slow down. I was like, oh, that's an interesting park.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm going to call that number on the sign.
Yep.
And here I am on PropStream trying to find it first.
Yeah.
And I can't find the phone number on the sign, so I'm like, I'm going to call that. Yeah, I'll meet you in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. And we went through the whole sales pitch. Like, it was way overpriced, things like that. But at the end of the day, like, I got the seller appointment. We got there. Like,
it'll come back eventually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll probably won't buy it, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but yeah,
But so it's like, I just think so many people are getting into their head about it, and you just make the dials and you figure it out. Like, and, but yeah, I mean, I would say my call to connect is like 10%. Cool. So if I'm making $100 a day, I can talk to 10 sellers, and out of that, I can get at least one LOI.
Yeah.
So like my goal is an LOI a day.
Yeah.
And the thing is, with people in the assignment business or the wholesaling business, it's like, dude, just send the LOI.
Yeah.
Send it.
Yeah. Because you never know their true number until you fucking send something in writing. Yeah.
Yeah. Send it at a 10 cap.
Yeah.
And because when it says cash, you know, they wanted $1 million, and you send an offer at, you know it's worth probably $1 million, and buyer would pay $1 million. You send it at 800K cash.
It's 875 now.
It's 60-day close. I know I have a buyer in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I sign it to them for $900.
Yeah.
Make $100,000.
How long are your timelines? So like an issue I have with the brokerage biz, I think the brokerage biz is more scalable because I think fairly quickly because of guys like you, the mom and pop
owners. I've called them all.
Yeah, I think it's eventually gonna die out soon. So I think the brokerage for a long-term, like 5-10 year trajectory is probably a more scalable approach.
Yeah.
But the problem with the brokerage
for the MHP.
For MHP. Yeah, it's like what's the next asset class with this mom and pops?
Oh,
are you thinking about that? Car washes? I've been looking at car washes.
No, not car washes.
What do you
think?
Like
I've got, dude. So what we're doing now is we're building out the systems and processes.
Yeah.
For MHP.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll add residential.
Yeah.
Because if the process
works, it's just plug and play whatever asset class. Yeah.
I'll have 6-7 different asset classes doing $1 million a year each.
Yeah.
That's the play.
That was my thought with the
Actually, we'll probably do more than that.
Yeah.
To be honest.
So the reason why I'm still cold calling, but like I've shifted to my database is big enough that text and email blast to landing page on MHP value.
Love that.
Drives my whole
I think that's great.
thing. But my thought was, all right, if I build an online funnel that works, you just need to cold call to build the database with the correct owners, and then the follow-up systems in the text emails, and then it routes to the landing page. And they always call me. They don't like sign up on it, but they're always watching the video, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, MHP value. I bought the domain Sell Your CRE because I was like, well, this could work for all CRE, not just fucking MHPs. And it's like,
the same thing.
Yeah, you just gotta basically plug and play that system into whatever. So I've been having the same.
Yeah. And I think there's, look, at the end of the day, you make your money your way, I make my money that way. It's the same, you're still making good money, but ultimately, at least for me, the end goal has always been ownership.
Same.
So like for me, this is just a way to survive and make good money to then invest back into deals.
Yeah.
And then the bigger deals is I get equity in it. Like, you know what I mean? So the stuff like today, like the RV park, I sourced that deal.
Yeah.
It's 55 pads, it's under contract, like, and if Derek has something under contract, he's closing. So like we're doing our due diligence period. It's a great park, 55 pads, under market value rents, great price point, mom and pop seller, scale, and I'm getting equity in it. Like I get equity in the GP, and then I'm going to take my acquisition fee and throw it into the deal and get cash flow, like in the upside. So like that is where I've always wanted to go, but it's nice to make some money in the interim.
Hey, if you're taking equity in the GP, do you actually want to be in the operations? Or you're just like, no, just give me a piece of the GP.
So I
stay out of it. Or
no, I'm taking on operations because I'm taking on operations because I want to learn it.
Yeah.
And I want to do what Derek did with Jason, and he said the exact same thing to me. And so, that's kind of how we're structuring things. And because I do want to learn it, but eventually, we'll pay somebody.
Yeah.
But I want to, like, if I'm going to learn an asset class, I want to learn it.
Yeah.
Because again, everything is systems and processes, and if I'm going to build something out, like, and I'm going to train somebody on how to do it, like, I need those systems and processes for my personal experience to go in there. So. Yeah.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, my thoughts with the getting into operations, like obviously the major wealth is having like long-term equity growth within portfolios and big properties, but the like my thoughts were there's so much upside, and you're seeing this too yourself with wholesaling deals. It's like, man, it's great to take like a piece of equity in a deal, but like over a 5-year trajectory, man, the 100K fee I take now could scale me up to 500K fees.
Yeah, depending on how you use the money.
Yeah.
Right. So,
yeah, obviously. But yeah, my thought was like
if
before
you're gonna go to Vegas and blow it all, it doesn't matter.
Well, my thought was before going to buy side. Because my thought is if I build a good scaled team, and I can get myself to like true netting without a lot of involvement to like bringing in 500K plus. Live off 200. It's a lot easier to invest in deals when you got 300K liquid sitting.
Yeah.
Then like now it's like I don't want to have the downgrade lifestyle to
I get it. No, I get
game.
it. Yeah. And I mean, and that's for me where it's the only reason I've changed my mindset on that is just because I have a family now. So like having a son,
the family is a whole different game. Yeah,
changes,
I'm
like,
single. Fuck it.
Dude. Like when I was you, but no, don't get me wrong. I guarantee you by the end of this year I'll be pulling up in a McLaren.
Yeah.
Like. Just what it is. Like I'm sorry, that's something I'm interested in, something I'm passionate about, and I think it's going to be a lot easier selling my assignment course for 10K.
Yeah.
When I'm pulling up in McLaren saying, "Hey, I just signed this round grant." Like.
Yeah, and
that's a true fucking stat. I don't care what you say, and you know, and I'll talk, and I'll argue with Cardone all day long about it. Like you want to talk about brand and promotion? Sorry, you're going to pay a lot more attention to me if I pulled up in a McLaren than if I pulled up in my Toyota.
Yeah, 100%.
And that doesn't mean you lease it. It doesn't mean you buy it when you can't. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like,
it's when you know it's. I mean, you could buy it in cash 3 times over. It's like, fuck it.
Like, you know, and if I can lease it, you know, and I'm not saying I'd even buy it cash. 'Cause I don't think it's a good investment.
Yeah.
Like, that would be dead equity.
Right.
So for me, I'd lease it at $2,000 a month. If I have cash flow coming in at $4,000 a month, then okay, that works. Like,
100%.
Sweet, you know. So
the it's curious. I mean, it's interesting. So like, you know, what's been a big eye opener to me was the course stuff. And Derek opened that up for me when he was winging it with the webinar.
Liquidity, man.
Yeah, when the fact that we did a webinar and sold 2 people on $2,000 a piece, without the course built, we literally sold it as, hey, we're working on this course, but we'll give you some coaching calls in the meantime. And 2 people sent us $4,000.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this is a viable fucking thing.
Yeah, and scalable.
Yeah, it's infinitely scalable and extremely sellable.
Dude, I mean, you look at any of these successful business owners that we look up to. Cardone, it's a course. It's a sales trading technology. He makes $150 million a year from that business. Now he buys a bunch of real estate and all this other stuff, right?
Did you watch? There was this one podcast where it was Power Players, Grant Cardone, and he had Ryan Pineda in there.
Yeah.
And Cardone was arguing to him, if you're making $7 million a year with your online courses, it doesn't even make financial sense to buy a C-class multi, because it's like the value add isn't comparable to the cash flow you get off the business. You should be focused on A-class only for huge equity growth. Yeah, it's not going to cash flow a lot, but you have the cash flow from your online business, and that struck to me. It was like, cash flow is better than value add deals now.
Yeah.
And it's like, because like if you get that much cash flow from the internet, it's infinitely scalable. It's like, the fuck are you doing trying to raise rents on this shitty property when you got $7 million free cash flow?
The only way I could see it making sense is if you can get into that deal and you're literally in it for a year, flip it.
There's nuances.
1031, 1031.
There's nuances to it, but that was an interesting mindset I never heard.
Yeah.
Because Grant never used to say that, but Grant's at such a level now. He's like, oh yeah, the C and B class doesn't make sense to me anymore.
Yeah.
I only buy the highest end because over a 10, 20-year hold period, that's going to have the highest growth.
Yeah, 100%, because people are going to move out of that shitty B, C class to move into the A class. I mean, that's just what people do, right?
And that's why he buys like Las Olas, fucking Boca Raton, Houston, Texas.
You know, and he's just playing a different game, right? So, but like what I take away from that is, you know, to play into this game, I know there's a lot of people that say no money down, sub 2 shit, but like, look, the reality is you need money, you need liquidity, or you need to be an acquisitions person.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't have cash, so I became an acquisitions person. But don't get me wrong, I'm trying to build those liquidity businesses to then become the equity person or the cash person, right? Or the, you know, have that buy the deals.
Yeah,
myself.
like in the 3 goals, like find a deal, work the deal, or be the capital for the deal. Eventually, when you work your way to the capital.
Yeah, so dude. Like, look, I mean, in a perfect world, like the assignment business will do $10 million a year.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
Automated. I will have all sorts of masterminds, courses, things like that to teach that. That'll bring me in another 10 to 20. You know, now I'm at 30 mil, and I know people listening to this are like, "Oh, you fucking cocky asshole." That's not, you know, fuck off. This is, trust me, it's doable.
Yeah, it's weird talking to people that aren't in the real like equity game of things. Like the idea of saying, "Oh, I can go from 200K to 500K next year." That sounds like a pipe dream to so many people, and then from 500K to 10 mil, it sounds like a pipe dream because they don't understand like. It's a game of like double ups and equity. It's not a game of more hours for more money. It's
leverage.
Yeah, and people in jobs cannot wrap their head around that concept.
No, dude. I mean, and that's what I go back to. Like, I was literally having a conversation with my dad on the phone, and my dad's he's a great guy, best friend, single parent, whatever.
Yeah.
He was a probation officer for 30 years.
Yeah.
And then his branch shut down, so then he went into car sales, right? Yeah. And he was like, dude, he makes like $300-400K a year selling cars in small town Iowa.
Yeah.
So like,
he's balling at it.
He would shit on India.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we could go into a whole conversation there, but and how unethical like India, it's whole shit went, you know. But anyway, so he you know, he does that, and he was like, you know, he just doesn't fathom. He's like, I don't understand how you can go from, you know, 0 to $1 million. You know, and that's kind of the trajectory that, you know, I'm potentially looking at. With what I got coming in, and it's like, yeah, dude, it's just because I found an asset class that the fee is so big. And so, you know, yeah, it's hard to fathom like someone going from 0 to $1 million. It's like there's no such thing as overnight success. Correct. I've been doing this for 10 fucking years.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, you can do it. You know, and that's the same thing as Hormozy, dude. Like Hormozy went from. I love Hormozy.
10 years of eating shit, failed with the payment processor thing.
Yeah. And then he went to 1 million.
It was able to just build it,
And then next thing you know, like in 3 years, 17 million take home.
Yeah.
And then he sold it for 46 million.
Yep.
Like that's possible with leverage if you know what you're doing and you know how to build the process systems in place.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, right now where I'm at is I went from acquisitions guy to, okay, I'm getting some money in, getting some fees, getting some, you know, like things. Okay, now we get ready to invest back into the business. We bring on salespeople. We document all our processes and systems. We brought in a third party individual who I'll, you know, I don't know if he wants me to say his name or not, like, so I won't. But he's
what's he doing?
He's a partner of ours, and he is just operations.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking this guy. Dude, this guy should be fucking working at Blackstone.
Yeah.
You know, and he had some businesses he sold, made a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Derek knows him. This guy, I'm telling you, this guy puts he makes it so I can sell, and everything else, systems, processes, all that shit in place for onboarding.
Like a fucking dream.
Dude, insane.
Cool.
And so, like, yeah, that's where you need to partner with the right people that work with your, you know, like his skill set is not on the phones. His skill set is back-end operations. That is not my brain power. I don't want to sit there and write processes and procedures and documents and document everything. Like, but and I know that, so I got to find somebody that complements that.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're like looking to partner up with somebody or just any advice for anybody listening, it's like, probably shouldn't partner with somebody who has the exact same skill set as you.
Yeah.
Like if you're both salespeopeople, you're fucked, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and that's where like Derek's a salesperson, but now he's becoming the investor.
Yeah.
And so now he's transitioning out into a different sale, which is raising capital.
You fill the sales acquisition role.
And he's the capital guy. Yeah. And then we have our operations guy. And then that's where we're gonna do. It's fucking insane how big this is gonna get.
So how many gross total fees this year so far? Or I mean 2023?
So in the last 3 months we've done like, I think we're 400,000.
Okay. Wow.
And dude, I had over $1 million under.
Yeah.
I had $2 $250,000 fees.
Yeah.
Fortunately fell out, portfolio deals, inspection issues. You know, that's the hard part about virtual.
Yeah.
Like I can't drive everything. Yeah. It's just, you know.
So yeah, that's another interesting thing too of like what the fur is about business models, and I'm trying to change this, but because I've always been doing out of state. Just Florida's really competitive. Like if I'm gonna make,
I think it's smart to go out of state. I think you're smart for doing that.
I think doing 100 cold calls, especially when I was newer. I think how in it because I didn't have a sales background like you did. Mm-hmm. So I built my skills in this industry, and I think I'm decent now. I give myself like a 6.
I've heard you on the phone with clients. Yeah, dude.
Being out of state. Man, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so I've never even like in-person meetings, bro. I've maybe done 5. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, I haven't seen 80% of the properties I fucking sold. And then the ones that when I sold them, I didn't even meet the seller. I just drove it, took some fucking pictures.
Yeah. No, dude, that's the same thing for me. Yeah. Like, and literally this last deal I signed last week, we put it under contract. Actually, I got the contract back yesterday, and I signed it already. You know, it's just, you know, oh, imagine this. My buyer who's buying in Pensacola, well, maybe I should find more parks in Pensacola.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
hello. Once you close one, you know that buyer needs to get add-ons and everything.
Yeah. So if I scoop up another 10 cap there, he's gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Like it's just that if he has the liquidity and capital, which I know he does. So I'm like, okay. So he's up there.
Yeah.
And you know, again, Grant Cardone advice is like, okay, if you're gonna have a meeting with somebody, never have just one meeting.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing all week when I'm prepping him, because we're closing, right? Yeah. He's closing on 2 parks in the Panhandle.
Yeah.
And
get 5 other meetings lined up.
Exactly for him. Said, hey dude, come with me. I got 5 parks.
Yeah.
Let's meet with the seller.
Yeah.
So I literally.
So that's the power. That's a.
So
that's
I'm
a power
shaking hands with the seller.
Yeah.
Hey, we're doing 340.
Yeah.
450.
Yeah. No, that's interesting.
I met with him at seller at 430. Signed the contract for $340,000.
Yeah.
I turned over for a 13 pad park in Pensacola, so like 30K pad, almost all park owned. Sold it. Put it under contract. Went to dinner. I got this for 450. You want it? Yeah, I'll take it. Okay.
How
110K.
How are you seeing the saturation now? Like you said, you got all the small parks in your, I bet within your 150-mile radius, you probably got them already.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you see the saturation going over the next 3 years? Because I bet that dries up relatively quickly.
It will, but it won't, because
there'll always be deals. There's always going to be bad operators and deals to be had.
Always going to be deals. Somebody who buys it this year is going to sell it next year for less.
Or but the gold mine where it's like, oh fuck, you could 500 contract this week. Like,
yeah. So here's in my opinion, and this is really like, and again, I probably sound like a cocky asshole right now, but like, your VA will not beat me.
Yeah.
I'm willing to make that call because it's $100K.
Yep. You're willing to make that call. You're willing to meet them. You're willing
Why
to
wouldn't I be?
Yep.
You shitting me?
You're willing to close a fucking deal with
I used to close for a $2,500 check in residential. Why would I not be willing to pick up the phone myself? Now I have a team still, but I'm still with them on the front lines every day, 100 dials a day. No one will, that's why I posted on Instagram the other day. No one will fucking beat me.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing this for 10 years. I won't quit, and I make 100 calls a day.
Yeah.
Like, some newbie is going to come in and be like, so my whole goal is like, okay, if you're a newbie wanting to come in, come join me. Or if you want to be on the broker side, join them on. Like, that's how it's going to be. You're not going to win this individually. Because, like, I'm building an army. There's too much of me. And then we'll just take down state by state. Like, there's 40,000 parks in the United States.
Yeah.
I will get my hands on all of them.
Yeah.
And whether I do a deal or not, they will know us.
Yeah.
And then now that we have capital, like the marketing and some of the other stuff we're doing, it's like, I'm getting calls now.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so that's weird. Like, the guy we met today in Central Florida, and again, I'm being vague because I just, it's still working the deal, so I don't want to give it away. Because I know there's fucking snakes.
There's too many snakes. Dude, and the people listening to this are the ones that are like, will never buy your course, will always be trying to fish off your deals, look for what you're posting and shit.
And there's tons of stories we can talk about off camera that are about some guys I'm sure we have commonality with. And I talk to other buyers, and then they're like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck, yep. 100%.
Or fuck that gal, fuck that guy.
Yep.
But yeah, the guy that, the guy that reached out to me was a marketing campaign that we spent, a good chunk of change on that he called me. He's like, hey, I want to
What do you guys do for marketing? Is it more just like text blast, email blast, and some mailers, or
all the above?
Yeah, because right now I'm at 80% inbound for everything.
That's awesome. Dude, that's a goal, man.
Yeah, that was a quick shift from last year. But you know where I run into issues is one thing that sucks about brokerage is brokerage splits.
Yeah.
Which brokerage split or having to split your money with someone is good if that money goes to something that complements you. Like you're saying, I'm sure you're splitting money with Derek and the other guy, but it's getting reinvested into stuff that actually builds. The problem is I have a totally different trajectory with brokerage, and I know a lot of brokers deal with this. It's like you pay a brokerage split for all these tools, but these tools start to not actually help your real bottom line. That's like where I hit like this. It's weird. That's why I was really interested.
It's like if I'm paying a split, my life needs to be easier.
Yeah, that's where I was curious about, like your scaling up and how you structure it for a team and like systems, because that's something.
Yeah, and like with our sales guys, it's like like the guy that did a deal. It's like, his life is pretty fucking easy.
Yeah,
you make the calls, pay him $25K fee.
It's all he's got to do. I met the system built for him.
I met with the seller. I dispoed it. Like I did, I did the contracts. Like our team did the contracts. Blah blah blah.
Do you have like a pretty built out CRM where you're taking like really good notes on sellers and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
And then your acquisition or whoever the calling guy is, he doesn't get access to that, right? He just gets his call.
He gets access to the acquisition side.
Okay.
But there's two sides. There's disposition and acquisition. Okay. So he has no idea what's going on in the back end.
See, that was a flaw with our company database why I split. I was like, I shouldn't be able to, like a new guy shouldn't be able to capitalize off my relationships and my.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And that was a huge flaw we had.
And to be honest with you, in my opinion, that brokerage should not be able to capitalize on the relationship you personally built.
Yep. So my problem was like the brokerage shouldn't send other street marketing to my relationships. My relationships should have Armand Viola.
Yeah, they came from MHP Value. Yeah. Those are your. So you can take that with you.
Yeah.
And you can argue that all day long, but I've talked to plenty of attorneys on this because I've switched brokerages many times. Not many times, but a few times. And that was the whole thing. Oh, you can't take my leads with you. You're right. I can't take the leads that you paid for with me. But people I can take the cultivated relationships with, I can take with me. Yeah. And we can go to court all day long, and I'll go to court for that because that's my book of fucking business. That's
dude, the brokerage non-competes is wild, and how many of them
they don't hold up.
They don't hang. I know they don't hang. So that's like
they don't hold up.
Big shift I'm having right now.
Just straight, And obviously, commercial world's a little bit different, bigger fees and stuff like that. But if all you have to do is say, hey, you came in through this funnel. This is my personal funnel.
Yep.
Yep. I'm sorry.
He doesn't even know I work for other street.
And Now, if they're providing you leads and you snake those deals and they paid plenty of,
that's
you know, like when
yeah.
I had buyers, agents that worked for me, and like, dude, I paid $10K a month, and then you're gonna try and close that deal, like I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Like that's my deal.
Yeah.
God, I'm sounding really aggressive on this.
No, but that's the
like,
game.
I'm
it's
just passionate about it, and it pisses me off. Like,
and it's like, dude, like someone, and
I want people to learn because I want them to know how to go about it. Like what's okay and what's not okay.
Yeah, and like the risk and exposure doing larger deals, right? So, all right, if you get shafted a little bit by 30-40% on like a $5,000 commission, not the end of the world. If you get shafted 30-40% on a portfolio that's worth $500K in fees, that's $250K you just lost.
Yeah,
that's like
a substantial
lot of fucking money. Like that's like life-changing money for people. Yeah.
So you have to be protected there. So.
Yeah, and that's something that's predatory that goes on in commercial brokerage.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's every company. Like I called around just to see like how do other teams start, and every team's starting at 50-50, providing almost nothing. It's like what the fuck? 50-50 on 100K fees
for what?
Yeah, it's like you don't even buy them a fucking Reonomy account. They're gonna bring you 200K worth of fees. You don't even buy them a fucking Reonomy account.
Why would you not? You know, if you're a broker, because you're a broker, right?
Yeah, I have my broker's license, but I don't have my own brokerage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously, you know, I'm not telling you what to do. You got a good setup, but like, at that point, I would.
We'll talk off camera too.
Yeah,
Since you know the ins and outs of that more than me, I'm very green. I just know my little lane of like I'm good at the email, text blast, landing page funnel. I'm good at finding deals. I think I'm really good at underwriting, but I'm not good at scaling the company stuff, the specifics of a real company and system process and how to scale that. And that was why I was curious. Like, all right, so you build the, and that was like the CRM. You want to keep the two sides separate.
Yeah, keep the two sides separate. You know, and I'm working on. So like, let's say I make 100 calls a day. 75 are to acquisitions, 25 is for disposition. Yep. Building new relationships, you know, trying to set.
And that's the good thing about commercials, like Dispo. It's like once you build up a solid buyers list, you know your guys. You really need 5 or 6 good buyers. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, you know, but like I know on the residential side, like I don't know if you know Eric Klein.
Is he like in Orlando? He's in Winter Park?
No, he's a residential guy out of Raleigh.
Okay.
Tattoos, like did like $5 million.
Oh yeah, he's the wholesale guy with the baseball bat. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he was very inspiration for me to make my content because like he's on the phone, being transparent about it. Like
he does great content too. He's a killer on the phones too. Yeah, he is not scared of the most awkward conversations. Yeah.
Like, oh, you want me to go fuck myself?
Yeah, he's like people want out of the
contract. Worse. Yeah.
I love the one where it's like someone wants to back out of the contract. He's like, yeah, we're not going to let you out of that contract.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I learned a lot from them on how they set up the team. Like how he does the acquisitions, and he has a partner, Tony Mont, who does dispositions, and he only does dispo. And
Tiffany and Josh High opened my world up to, you know, Tiffany and Josh High, by any chance? Basically like Eric Klein, they have a very good wholesale.
Oh yeah, I know Tiffany. Yeah, I know Tiffany. I've seen her content.
Yeah. They were the first ones to expose me to the flaws that a lot of CRE big shop firms have, where it's like this whole shared database, the brokerage controls. It's like, oh no, acquisitions, dispo needs to be completely separate. Just we don't refer to it as AC and dispo. It's just like
it's just buyer seller. Yeah.
Buy side like lead gen.
Because you're not dispoing you're like
you're selling the deal that you have listed. And then here's the problem. It's like technically your listing is owned by the brokerage, so that's why I think it gets commingled.
Right.
Right. So that's where it gets fucking.
It gets
finicky.
weird. It gets weird, but like.
Do you ever see a world where wholesaling gets I don't know how they would do it, but how I could see them eventually passing a law where it has
They're
to be
already starting in like Illinois and stuff.
Yeah, where like you could only assign 3 contracts a year, or if you assign it, the assignee needs to be the same owner of the LLC or some shit like that. So that way it can be assigned to a new one. I'm curious if that ever goes into effect. No, I can't see it happening because it's too much of a gray area.
No, I think wholesaling in the sense of like. I think like the double close stuff might come into effect. Like there might be more like tax implications.
Yeah, with the double. Yeah, you might need to do double closes instead.
Yeah. But like the assignment, literally the reason the assignment clause was created was to protect buyers from being gouged in price.
Yeah.
So for example, and I learned this in real estate school, and I didn't really understand it, but the one thing I took away from it was like when Mark Zuckerberg goes and buys a house.
Yeah.
And the contract says Mark Zuckerberg, and you're the seller.
Yeah.
Are you going to come down on price?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Fuck that. It's Mark Zuckerberg. He's a fucking billionaire.
Yeah.
So instead, he pays some kid $200,000 to put his contract down, and he assigns it to Mark Zuckerberg at closing. And then at closing, Mark Zuckerberg shows up, or the LLC shows up. Yeah. So it's protecting buyers. Yeah. So and I don't see a world ever where they'll get rid of the assignment clause because it's a legal protection for buyers. Like if I have, like when you have, let's just say Blackstone buying a park or a deal, and it's for some reason let's say they bought a mom and pop, which I'm not saying they would ever, but like
They do.
If they do.
Yeah. I know both their acquisition
and
company.
I guarantee that acquisition company puts it under their LLC and signs it to Blackstone.
Yeah. So there's 2 companies that are like Blackstone's companies.
But they have no one knows. The seller has no idea that that's a part of Blackstone.
Yeah.
And that's for a reason.
Yeah.
It's protecting Blackstone, because it's not fair that just because they're Blackstone and they have all this capital, that would just, unless we become a socialistic society where the government owns anything.
That's the problem. Like, a lot of lawmakers really don't understand real estate, which is crazy.
No, and like so it won't pass.
Yeah. But like,
because you have too many people in power that are in real estate. All the real estate.
And they'll just figure out a different loophole. Like right now, like accelerated depreciation, they're bringing back, I think. Mm-hmm. Like, you remember they're phasing it out, and now it's back.
It's back, That's back, and then like the like just the assignment clause and stuff. Like, that's where I don't double close things. I assign it, and it's just legal. It's just simple. It's
And then another interesting too for the guys in my course, like the amount of off-market deals I do that just the buyer just pays us. They just wire us money.
Yeah.
They don't care about assignment or anything. They're just like, all right, like, what's your fee? 75, or I'll just wire it to you.
Yeah. And I just had a deal like that where the seller was adamant about no assignability. So but I was like, okay, well, here's the deal. And I explained it to him. I said, here's the deal.
Yeah.
Like, this is how this works.
Yeah.
This is what my fee is.
Yeah.
You don't pay it, they pay it.
Yeah.
And I either take equity or the fee. And this is what it's going to be. And I'll decide that at closing. And, I'm going to take the fee. It's $105,000.
Have you taken equity with one? Have you done any? Have you taken equity yet? Or not
Only
yet?
on the stuff with Derek.
Okay. Yeah, because another hard part that this is like, we'll go in depth. It's like a lot of guys will offer equity, but it's like, well, how much of the GP are you going to give me? Or are you just going to throw me in as like a bullshit LP? Well, I'm part of the acquisitions of the deal. There's like a lot of finicky, like what percentage do you get? Like what's your payout going to look like? It's very finicky on the
so I won't speak on percentages.
Yeah, unless you know the guy like Derek. You guys work directly.
Yeah. So if I won't speak on, I won't speak on like exactly.
Yeah, because obviously it's competitive out there. Yeah.
Well, and it's Derek's not here to speak on it, so I don't want to speak out of tone, and it's a new relationship, so I'm not trying to ruin it. But I get percentage of the GP. Yeah. So. And then I can invest the acquisition fee back into the deal. So I get percentage of GP, including an acquisition fee. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So but then if I want to throw back, if I want to add to the LP side.
Yep. You can always throw money in there too.
I take the acquisition fee, throw it in the LP. Yeah. So I get preferred cap. Preferred rate.
I know the only time someone told me what their GP splits was, I won't say who it is, but one guy, a very established dude in the Midwest, he would let his acquisitions guy get 25% of the GP just for finding it. I was like, that's pretty. Oh, okay. I'm curious how you guys have it split up.
I won't comment.
I'll ask Derek one of these days, or if we're all together.
If he's comfortable, I'll let Derek answer that.
Yeah, I'm curious how you guys would. But you also want to partake in the actual operations too, so that would obviously change.
And again, the reason being, in the first couple I want to, just because I need to.
You gotta understand the game. Yeah, you gotta know the game.
I gotta understand it.
Yeah, that's something Derek has, like. Because I know he was making good money with Affleck, and for him to literally be the guy knocking on doors, kicking out tenants.
I want to experience that so I can train someone else. And I know Derek could do that, but that's not. And here's another lesson for you guys. Like, if you guys want to be a part of the game, you got to be willing to do the shit work, because Derek's in a guy. If you want to work with a guy like Derek, okay, the perfect example. Derek had a guy approach him and it was like, hey, I have a deal for you. And he's like, okay, cool. Like, what's the deal? And I won't tell you the deal, and I won't tell you because it's still being marketed and things like that. But this guy was like, I'll give you the deal, and I would like equity in this deal. Derek's like, okay, great. What's the split? What are you thinking? And Derek's a fair guy. Yeah. Have a conversation with him. He'll tell you, like, what his thoughts are, and he'll listen to you. Yeah. And And he goes, I want 50% of the GP. And he's like, well, what are you going to do? And he's like, well, that's just for me finding the deal. And he's like,
whoa.
It's like, so wait, so I'm going to be the one doing all the boots on the ground. I'm the one raising the capital. I'm going to be the one putting all the money in, and you want 50% of the fucking GP or 50% of the deal. Yeah. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. It's like, I'm gonna do 100% of the work for this 5-year hold, and you're just gonna take half.
So for those wanting to get into the space where you get equity, you might have to be the deal finder and the boots on the ground, and whatever that guy tells you is the split. Yeah. Obviously do your research, but don't be a dumbass. Yeah. Get into the deals. Yeah. And then eventually, because if you look at Sam Zell, Sam Zell is the reason I do what I do now. I don't know if you know who that is. Yeah,
fuck yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Are you kidding me?
Sorry.
What do you think I just got on CRE yesterday?
Well, I talk to people and they're like, fucking Sam Zell. Yeah. And I listen to his audiobook, my girlfriend in the car, and I listen to that, Am I Being Too Subtle, 1,000 times. And we'll be in the car and I'll just be listening to it and just on repeat. And my girlfriend's like, oh, this guy with the voice. Yeah. And R.I.P. Sam Zell.
Yeah, R.I.P. Goat.
R.I.P. dude.
Goat.
I almost teared up the other day because I was doing some acquisition work, and I found a park that I was calling on, and I looked at the name, and it said Sam Zell on Rihanna, and I'm like,
wow.
oh, God.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was crying.
That's cool his name
I was like, oh, my God. But anyways, literally why I got into the deal and why I got into this framework is he said when he started, he was an attorney. I'm sure you know the story, but he was an attorney, and he was like, yeah, I'm just a deal guy.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I call myself a deal guy. He was like, yeah, I do deals. And the guy's like, okay. And he was like, and so if I bring the deal in, like, you know, I want my attorney fees and things like that, but I also get fees for deals and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, my partners got mad at me. My law partners got mad at me because I was just on the phones all day doing deals with brokers and people, and I'd get fees, and I made like $100K, and back then it was like $1 million in fees and things like that. And I'm like, so this guy just sits on the phone all day in his office, just flinging deals.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's exactly what I want my life to be like.
Yeah, it's fucking great life.
Yeah, and so that's and the reason I bring that up is his partner. I think it was Bob Lowry.
Yeah.
Bob Lowry was his name. In the beginning, Bob Lowry worked. Sam Zell was established.
Yep.
Bob Lowry says, "Hey, I want to. You know, he was Sam Zell. Was like, Mr. Lowry, Bob, come work with me.
Yeah.
You know, here's the deal. I'm 85. You're 15. Within a couple of years, it was 50-50.
Yeah.
So, like, the reason I tell that story is because, like, if you're that person and just take what you're going to get, do the work, you're going to get to 50-50. These guys aren't greedy.
Yeah.
Because you're making their life easier, and they want to help you succeed. They truly do.
Yeah.
You know, like, they want to share that, you know,
yeah.
If they're legitimate.
They're not greedy unless it's CRE brokerage companies.
Yeah. So,
let's quick break. Let's do a piss break.
Dude, I got a piece.
Yeah, I got a piece so bad. Piss break, and then I got to change battery and everything.
Sweet.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah, I hope it's okay right now. I know I talk a lot.
No, dude, this is a great podcast because you actually like talk about shit.
Huh.
Test 1, 2, 3. Hit a little test for me if you don't mind.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Cool. Yeah, because it reconnects. When
yeah. I was like,
same.
Are they gonna pick up on my piss sound?
Oh yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah.
Just taking a
rip ass a couple times.
Yeah.
All right, so shifting now. Let's go into like just personal life questions and just things you're into. First question. So like currently now, because I know it's been a huge rush of like liquidity and income, like what percentage of your income do you live off of?
I'm like 10 grand a month.
Okay.
So
cool. Yeah, we're in like the same boat.
I don't really know what percentage that would be right now, because it's just like it's hitting fast.
I don't even track it either.
Like I just am like everything over 10,000 is going into deals.
Yeah.
So, that's just kind of what I live. Like my rent's $2,000 a month. Just got a new house. Like, you know, I live up in the beach, so or in Panama City Beach. Like, so it's like $2,000 a month for a 4-bedroom.
You bought the house?
No, fuck.
No.
Yeah. I don't believe in buying houses.
Same.
Yeah. You know, like, and that's the thing too. It's like a lot of people are so focused on buying a residential house right now, and I'm like, you get what you put your focus on. So if I wanted to spend the next month trying to find a house, I could.
Yeah.
Or I could spend the next month trying to find 100 units and get that.
Yeah, I always thought like buying a house, like there ain't no way I'm paying retail. So like, am I gonna go cold call fucking houses and shit now and take away from
sub 2 a house?
Like
I get sub 2 a house. Like, okay.
Well, do I want to go cold call 500 sellers for that fucking tiny deal?
Yeah, I could sub 2 that. Take over payments or whatever. But here's the reality.
Yeah.
Now I have to pay for the fucking roof. I have to pay for the furnace.
Yeah, it's gonna be some dilapidated house.
And I'm stuck there.
Yep.
Like I'm talking to the girlfriend, and I'm like, look, we might move to Orlando.
Yeah.
Okay, after our 12 months is up, or if we want to leave now.
You might buy a portfolio in North Carolina, babe. We're moving to North Carolina.
We're moving to North Carolina, but like that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know. And so like I don't want to be tied down from a house. Now, let's say I'm making a couple million a year, blah blah blah. I want a beach house or whatever.
Yeah.
Just because
the house is so small compared to what you do. It's like
yeah, dude. It's just a place for me to. We needed more space, so we upgraded the house.
Yeah.
Like, I have, I'm decking out the garage, so it's an office studio. Like, I just needed space for myself, and it was either, I told her, I was like, we can stay here and get an office, or we can get a house, and I'll just work out of the garage, and the garage is mine, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, okay, that's fine. So that's how we kind of, we structured that, and sorry, ladies, I am taken.
Yeah.
I'm off the market. But yeah, so that's kind of how we structured that, and then, I would say it's probably around, like, 8,000 to 10,000 a month is kind of like what I live on. And then anything above, like I said, it's just like in a business account that's being stacked, and then we'll go into deals.
And then how much money is like your operations cost as far as like all of your tools and everything?
That's funny you say that because I literally got a message today from the operations asking me that same question, so we can kind of figure it, because we're transitioning bank accounts and things, because I've been paying for it personally, and we want to not do that, because it's like not, we want to have
you want to eventually have proper
statements and things.
Books.
Yeah. So like for me, it's like I would probably say I'm at like just systems and stuff, maybe like 1,500. I'd say probably right around where you are.
Yeah, we're right in the same boat. Yeah, because it's CR.
But I'm including that in that 10,000 a month.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So that's like included in that. Okay, so like when that goes.
So you live light then, because you got a kid, wife, and you're still only real living 8K.
Yeah, for real. I mean, for like straight, like that's what I'm. And the reason is one, because I've lived so frugal, for a long time, and like I don't do anything else but work.
Fuck, everyone I meet, bro. It turns out I live like a fucking asshole.
Well, okay, so here's the deal. Like, I smoke expensive cigars. Yeah. $30 sticks. Like, I just.
Yeah, you do, dude. Having your daily smoke is a fucking 1964 or whatever is fucking.
Yeah, 1926. It was
1926.
30. Yeah. I just bought a $400 box.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. I do like Rocky Patel's though, like a nice $11 stick.
Yeah.
Like I'll smoke one of those.
Yeah, Hemingway's and Oliva G's in my daily.
Yeah, so like those are my daily though. So I have an expensive cigar hobby. I call it a hobby. I don't call it a habit.
Just wait till you get in watches like Derek.
See, I'm not. I don't like them.
Really?
I bought it.
You don't like them until you get your first one.
Well, like I bought it. I bought it to SOT, and it was like $500. And I was like, "Fuck, dude, you're an idiot."
Yeah, dude, go drop 10 on a fucking rollie. You'd be like, "Fuck, I need the next one."
Well, see, and that's the thing.
Because then you start thinking, well, if it's going to retain its value, it's good for marketing. It's like I could use 3 of them.
Well, it's funny because like it was closing and it was Christmas and stuff. We had a closing. It was like I think it was like $100,000. Sitting there, $100,000 just hit my account. I'm like, oh, sick, dude. Like, babe, like, I'm gonna go to, go like Christmas shopping. I spent like $800, and this is how dumb I am, by the way. And I love my girlfriend because she's this way. I didn't realize the jewelry in Dillard's is costume jewelry, even if it's in the case.
Yeah, it's all.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh my god, this is sick. Like, it's beautiful. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, I spent like $800, and I bought it to SOT, and then I bought her a ring, and like a watch and shit. And I spent like $800, and I was like, God, you're such. And I on the drive home, I'm like, you fucking dumbass. Like, why are you doing that? Like, blah 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 blah. Yeah. She ended up returning it because she's like, it's not real. I'm like, oh fuck, my bad. But I kept it to SOT, and I'm like, I'm not even wearing it. Like, it's just like it. That stuff for me is. Yes. Do I like wearing a nice suit? Am I going to wear suits more? Yes, because I think it's going to become a brand that I want to build. Yeah. Cigars, classy, like. Yeah. Now when I'm in a position like I said, I'll have a McLaren this year, or if my girlfriend forces me to get a 4-seater, I'm gonna get a Rolls Royce Dawn, like at least that, like you know what I'm saying, like I like that, like I like muscle cars, I like that Mustang that was in the parking lot. So like those are the things I'll probably spend money on. Yeah. But like this little stuff, like hey, $15K for a watch here, 20. Yeah. My girlfriend is not. She's basically my wife. My wife is not a hey, I'm gonna go buy Louis. Yeah. Like stuff like that. She's just not that type of person. Yeah. And so like a big expense for me is, like for Christmas I took them to Gatlinburg for 2 weeks. And like they've never done that. Like that's a cool thing for me. I took the whole family. Like I could pay for that. Like I enjoyed that. Yeah. But I'm not like, I don't know. I don't drink. Yeah. But I do like a nice steak, like filet. Like let's go to the store. I'm not. Yeah. Food's something I never cheap out. No. A good meal is worth it. Like 100%.
I never even look twice in the grocery store. Fuck that. No. I'm buying the bone and ribeye. Fuck you.
Yeah. I'm buying the ribeye. I'm buying the filet. Like, and the thing is too is like it's really not that expensive because I fast all day. So like I eat my steak, Brussels sprouts, and fucking whatever else at night, and it's like a $40, $50 meal. But like.
And of all the things that cost a lot, the cost of food is so minuscule compared to the next deal. It's like fuck it. That's the cool thing about getting lump sum checks is like you really can overlook the little shit because you're focused on big moves of money that
and that's the thing, the freedom of it, dude. I'm like
the freedom of it. The spending power is like a real thing.
Because, when you're an employee and you make a paycheck, which I've been there, and it's like, dude, can I get Chipotle today or not?
Like I got friends like first year in the biz. Like I made like 120, and I had friends that were making. Yeah, I know for first year, isn't that crazy?
Congrats.
Thank you. But like my friends making comparable amounts, and they were just working like like iBanking in New York or something, right? Yeah. When you're not paid in lump sums, like if you get a $50K check, you could plan out a whole 6-month strategy now to triple that money. Meanwhile, if you're getting paid in increments, now you have to budget and hopefully save up that 50K. So that
which won't happen.
Which won't. So that 6-month plan might take you a year and a half to get there. But if you have the spending power of lump sums, now you can make the next move. It's like, okay, how are we going to reinvest this money to try and get systems? And now that 50K is fucking 150K in the next 3 months, and the next
100%. Like, and that's the thing too. Like, and it's like, and that's where, like, for financial advice, you know, for me, I'm only going to listen to people who have more than me.
Yeah.
You know, so like if people are like Derek, right? So he's saying, I'm like, hey, how much? Like, I literally will call him on closing day. How much do you want?
Yeah.
Like, here's my accounts. I'll be transparent.
Yeah.
How much should I put in? And I'll let him decide, and I'll put that amount in. You know what I'm saying? And I have a pretty good feeling I know what he's gonna say.
Yeah.
Throw it all in. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, and that's fine. I'll do that. But I'm not going to take advice from the Northwest Mutual fucking financial advisor who makes $40K a year.
Yeah.
That says, hey, like I remember I sent. So when I got that $100,000 wire, I sent it to my dad, just a screenshot.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, like, this is just close this.
Open up a Roth IRA.
No, well, so it's funny. He sends me a screenshot of his Roth IRA.
Yeah.
And he was like, this took me 7 years, and it's 106,000 in his account.
Yeah.
And he makes $400 a year.
Yeah.
$400 a year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he just is stuck in that mindset of like, I'm like, because I'm calling him up. I'm like, dude, you should throw in deals.
Yeah.
You get the tax appreciation. You get all these benefits.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck, I have it tied up in a CD.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right now it makes sense because 5.5% return. You know, it's a good, it's fine, it's safe. But like, he just bought like a $700,000 house, like all this stuff. I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, now and he literally told me on the phone down here, like, I'm trapped. I'm fucking stuck in this house. Yeah. Blah blah blah. I can't do it. I'm like, you know.
Yeah, and that's where I think that's like a message that people miss from Grant Cardone when he's like, fuck saving your money. He doesn't mean go blow it on dumb shit. No. But he's like, don't save your money. Put that money towards something that's going to build something way bigger.
Well, that's why he says, and I preface this with people, is he's like, he doesn't call it saving, he calls it stacking.
Yeah.
And like, it's a very, I mean, and people are like, well, what's the difference? Well, the difference is, you know, when you're stacking, you're going to use it for something, and you're saving, you're just saving for like, protect.
Yeah, PBD has a similar mindset where he does like he calls it doubles, and he's like, when you make money, you just got to figure out how do you get to the next double and invest the money towards getting that next double up. And like people don't understand that who are in W-2s because they can't break that like budgeting mindset. I'm gonna put this percentage towards this allocation, this allocate to this. I'm gonna live off this and it's like.
And I get it, because how could you? Because like, I'm sorry, but
you only pay these small increments, so you're going to think in incremental.
Yeah, and again, like somebody, you know, you're making 100K a year, like that's basically what, like, where things are at right now in the economy. Like
100K ain't shit now. It's terrible.
You're breaking even. You're breaking even.
Yeah, bro.
You know? And that's why I live on 10K a month. I break even at 10K a month.
I don't understand like how someone who wants to have like an interesting life or do fun shit, even if you're single. Like, all right, obviously you can pinch pennies, but I don't understand how someone lives off like 40K. I don't even think it's possible to pay for life. Like, how do you pay for?
It was so hard, dude, when I was valeting, and I was like, because she was staying at home because she just had a baby. Like, we just had her son, and I was like,
that's crazy. You were able to do this with how long ago did you have the kid?
A year. He turned 1 year. He's one.
Oh, but you built your skills already. Okay.
I was 9 years. I was 9 years in of skills.
Yeah. That's where it sucks. If someone gets a kid when they're fucking 18, it's like you can't take those risks.
You can.
It's just way harder.
You just have to communicate with your partner. So like with my partner, it was like, sat her down. I'm like, look,
we're not going on dates for a while. We got to figure this out.
Well, not only that, but it's like, here's the deal. And I would never get into like a 9 to 5 because that doesn't give you the flexibility to build anything.
So that's why you're doing valeting,
bartending,
some shit where it's
I can still make 100K. You're doing
go
it.
Get your cash and do your shit.
Yeah. And that will pay for us. And then during the day, I'm building a business. Yeah. So my time with my son is going to be when I wake up in the morning and when I bathe him at night, things like that. Yeah. So, and which is all I want anyways. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so for her, and she's been such a, you know, if she watches this, like, Lindsay, you've been a great team player. Like, you know, she's like, but you have to have that constant communication with your spouse of like, this is where we're going. This is the plan. And there were times where we had major fights because she's like, okay, like, you're 6 months into your plan. What's going on? Yeah. And then boom, closing. Like, okay, new house, this is happening. Yeah. Like, and now I'm like, hey, I have to go now when I'm in, like yesterday morning, I'm like, hey, I have to go to Central Florida for a deal at Tampa. I'm gonna be on for 2 days. It's like, go do your thing. Yeah. I got the house. Yeah. And that's how you have, if you're gonna play this game, and if you're in business, entrepreneurship, or whatever, like whether you're the stay-at-home or whether your wife's the spouse, whatever the situation is, like the communication has to be there, and it has to be the main focus of like. And I told her, I said, look, I said, same with Grant, goals and dreams, ambitions. Yeah. Duke, my son, you. Yeah. Don't like it, fucking door, or I'll leave.
Yeah.
I'll pay for you. I'll make sure you're taken care of. I'll always take care of you because you're my son. You're my son's mother. Yeah. But if that means our relationship's not gonna, you're either on board, and it sounds selfish, but it's also selfish for me not to go pursue my dreams because of all the other people I can help and build. Yeah. Like it's so and people are like, oh, you're such a selfish asshole. Okay. Well, what about the guy, my sales guy, who just made $25K because of what I built?
Yeah. Everyone who talks about making money selfish is like, well, who are you helping? Because you can't even help yourself when you're making fucking 40K.
Yeah, and so like I would be being selfish if I gave up on my dreams and ambitions and that, right? So
I forgot who said that. It was like for someone who's capable to not act on that capabilities means he's basically fucking over for the people that aren't capable, because it's like not everyone could go, like we said, not everyone understands a deal, right? Or not everyone could scale this, not everyone could go 6 months without a paycheck to try and chase that big deal. Like it's the person who can do it that needs to do that so he can take care of like his whole family. And there's always going to be the A player in the family and the not A player.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah. And
like, I mean, and whether you like it or not, like, I'm sorry to say this, but life's fucking hard.
Yeah.
And if I were to summarize this conversation, is you need to make more money. Bottom line. Like, I'm sorry that hundreds of years ago we decided currency was a thing.
Yeah.
And like if it was coffee, and that's how we traded, like, I'd be figuring out how to get more coffee.
Yeah, how do we make a coffee mill?
Yeah, right, exactly, because that's what you live on.
Yeah.
And that's how you survive. Yeah. I didn't make the rules.
Yeah.
Someone did. So I got to play the game. Yeah. And if you're not going to play the game and you just give up, then you're not going to live a fulfilling life. Yeah. In my opinion.
What's your opinion on Dave Ramsey?
You saw my post.
Yeah. Oh, you did post about it? No, I didn't see it, but
I respect him a lot.
Yeah.
Because he built a $300 million a year grossing business.
Yeah.
I think Alex Ramosi touches on that when he interviewed him. And if you look at the businessman Dave Ramsey, the reason he has the credibility he has, the reason he has the trust in the people that he has, is because his advice works in the sense that you spend less, you save more.
Yeah. Thank you. That's exactly what he said on Graham Stephan's podcast. He's like, why is his advice
and that's why his credibility, that's why he's never been claimed as a fraud. That's why he's not claiming these things.
Doesn't tell you crazy shit.
Like if I had a course right now, my course would be, hey, you do one deal, you don't have to work the rest of the year.
Yep.
Some people could say like, okay, that's not true. You're fake. You're fraud. Or if I had a course that said, hey, quit buying Starbucks and make coffee at home, you're gonna save money. Yeah. That's fucking true. Yeah.
It's hard for people to disagree with that.
It's hard for people to disagree with that. Yeah. So I respect for what he's built. I think he laid the landscape of like financial advice and content, and like he's an OG, and I respect him. And if I met him, I'd shake his hand, but I don't agree with it. I don't. You can't live the way he's telling you to live. Yeah. And I know that's and that might have worked 20 years ago, but it doesn't work now. Yeah. And
it's easier to say don't leverage debt when you have a 98% profit learning business, teaching business. Yeah.
Well, and exactly. When he has a
he had the right vehicle that allowed him.
When he's taking home $150 million a year, he can buy 5 pieces of real estate cash. Yeah. And it cash flows, whatever. But here's the reality. Like, I agree with him. Don't go and buy a $200,000. If you have $200,000, don't go buy a Rolls Royce. Yeah. A used Rolls Royce, or let's just say if like a new Bentley, or I don't know how much, whatever. Because that's dead equity. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you shouldn't buy a car with that. Yeah. It's a bad. You're stupid. Yeah. You could go make 8, 10, 12% of that money if you put it in the right asset and get tax depreciation. Yeah. Like he's just buy an $800,000 asset with that. Yeah. Will be worth 1.6 when you get the rents. Like he's not teaching that stuff. And the reason not teaching that stuff is because that's not always credible. Yeah. Like it's not like it's hard to explain that to people. And that's where Grant gets so much flack. Yeah. Because he's telling you to go make more, and everyone's like, well, yeah, I tried it and it didn't work. Well, because you he did what he did. I think he's a great person to look up to as far as business model and what he's done, as far as content production and scaling and building an online business of $300 million a year gross. But like otherwise, no, I don't agree with his debt. Yeah, there's good debt and bad debt.
Who's your favorite like kind of influencer out there today?
Obviously, the OG's Cardone. To be honest, I don't like his content lately. Yeah. He needs to get back to the daily, he needs to get back to his bread and butter, which is educating. Yeah. And I get it. He's too big now. Like, I don't mean that in way. He's not too big as far as a following.
Yeah.
He's too big as far as he's just got too much on his plate. As
he
far
can't
as
be doing daily live stream webinars like he used to do 5 days a week.
No. And so, you know, I look at it like, okay, that's what I need to do next to get to where he is, you know, and then to get into the bigger stuff, right? Yeah. So I learned from it, but like, so as far as the like content creator or personality, to be honest with you, is going to get a lot of flack. I like Tate.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say Andrew Tate's my top guy.
I'm a big Tate guy, mainly because of what his business model is genius. You know, $49 a month. He has 200,000 subscribers in his online course. Like, I look at that and I'm like, that's a $100 million business. Yeah. How do you do that? Yeah. That's how I'm looking at it.
He also like successfully shifted and has removed himself out of the business, rebranding as The Real World, and having guys like Justin Waller and different affiliates.
I like Justin. Yeah. I don't like now.
You see, he just got banned off every platform today.
Justin Waller?
Yeah, he's off YouTube and everything today. It's not in the news for some reason. It's not as
of course not
as big of a story as I thought it'd be.
Of course not. But guess what? You can't. And again, I like Hormozy too.
Yeah.
And the reason I like Hormozy is because he breaks it down in such a simple way that makes it you feel stupid for not doing anything. Yeah. Like, he'll literally be like, if he was sitting right here, he would say, the key to success is doing action. Yeah. And you know, you don't have a fear of failure. You have a fear of taking action. Yeah. So like, you think you have this, I'm afraid to fail. No, you're just not afraid. You just don't want to do the work.
And I like how he breaks down everything and very articulated. Like, everything's like a series of inputs and outputs. There's no how you feel about it. It's like you either put in this and make these actions and get these results, or there's something wrong with your actions and your process. Like, he's very...
In my opinion, and this is a very bold statement, but I think he's going to be like Buffett-esque.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Just the new way. Like, that whole thing he's doing with school. I don't know if you've seen much about it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's basically what Tate's doing with Real World, but on a bigger platform. Yeah. He's charging $99 a month. Yeah. He gets 200,000 users. That's a $200 million business. Cash.
By the way, my coaching platform's on School before he announced the School thing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's funny.
You know, so I mean, I think it's a great platform. Yeah. And that's something that I'm looking at doing. Like, I want to do.
I think if you end up doing an online course, it's by far the best. It's amazing how you could build because you could do like, it's basically like an organized Facebook group with the added capability of setting up different courses within. And then like, you could give access to specific courses based on pay structures, and then also you could send notifications and emails directly from that platform.
Yeah, and like, what other platform are you going to get where you can actually have maybe a potential chance of like interaction with the person?
With everyone, yeah. It's great. And you can have coaching calls within the platform. It's really fucking great. Yeah, when I got on it, I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, and so like, if you're 18 years old, why the fuck would you go to college?
Dude, you should tell Derek to get on fucking School.
Yeah,
when we were just testing out the theory and shit, it was like we'd have to go on Zoom, and then we'd try and where are we going to put the course, and then how do we send them the email blast and everything. School it literally.
Yeah, so not to like rip off, but like The Real World, like Derek and I want to build our own, and like do it with it because we have so much experience in, like, the way I look at my umbrella. Yeah. Is I can teach residential real estate. I could crush any residential real estate coach out there. Tom Ferry, like I could have a platform inside there. I can do the assignment business. He can do the investment real estate side, the mobile home park stuff, or just real estate investment, raising capital, operations of a business. Like, we can build out a pro platform. Yeah. And I think I think Derek would probably go to school to know, like, not go to school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Go to the school platform.
The platform and build on that. But my big for us to get to 100 million.
You gotta have your own customized platform.
Which is what we wanted. Which is what I want to do. Yeah. I brought it up. There's a lot to get there. Yeah. But that's my 10-year plan. Yeah. Is to have my own online platform like that, where there's a bunch of stuff like.
Yeah, because now you're also in the software game, which is crazy multiples too, for like exit plan. Just the
software games, and then like, okay, but just the knowledge base that I have with the people I know. Yeah. I mean, hey Armand, if you want to be inside that, have your course inside that. Yeah. I'll pay you percentages of. Yeah. Inside that, so now you have a passive income, and you can still have your own. Yeah. But we're marketing within our own business. You know what I'm saying? And so there's like, and then there's affiliates, and then that's what Tate did so well. That's why you can't cancel him. Yeah. Because he's got,
100 people reposting and rerouting. Hey, Real World, join.
Go to Real World, and then they sign up through that Instagram account. That person's getting a commission for that.
Yeah, and what was interesting too is that I don't know if he does this anymore, but in the early days when he first did the affiliate, I learned this later on that what he was doing, it wasn't just, oh, you get an affiliate if someone signs up, but they get a percentage for X amount of months. So it's like real reoccurring revenue for the affiliate too.
Exactly.
So that's even more. Because, and then he tried to actually make it good where people retain in the program. That way it actually builds upon each other. And that's why he's at 200K fucking subscribers.
And that's why you can't cancel. Yeah. He's off every platform and he's bigger.
And he's on every platform. That's the craziest thing. He's off every platform.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Now, there's going to be some, like, for me, like, and I'm just talking out loud in my head, like, and I think about this all the time. It's like, how are you going to rebrand yourself?
Yeah.
Because I have to rebrand myself.
Yeah.
I can't wear, like the fact that I'm sitting here and wearing Callaway gear is stupid.
Yeah, because it's not going to attract attention.
It's not going to attract attention.
It doesn't give
and
you
it's not my name.
Yeah.
It's not, like, the fact that I'm wearing anybody else's brand is stupid.
Yeah. I think that 100%, bro.
100%. And so I got to be a little bit more polarizing.
Yeah.
So I'm literally searching how to become, I'm taking, like, courses on how to become polarizing.
Yeah.
How can I have an opinion that's so strong that half the people hate it and half the people love it?
Yeah.
And that's what's going to, look at any president in the United States, half of them hate him, half of them love him, and that's how he gets in.
Yeah.
Look at Trump, you know what I mean? So, yeah, dude, that's just kind of like where I'm trying to go and just trying to have that attitude of like, like it, you don't, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my thing. But yeah, dude, that's kind of what I see myself, at least a 10-year plan. And then taking that liquidity and buying other assets like I mentioned, restaurants. Like restaurants can be a great opportunity if you buy 100 of them, like Tillman Fertitta, like the entertainment space.
Yeah.
Like how he built his business. Like I can underwrite a restaurant just like I can underwrite a mobile home park, just like I can underwrite a multifamily deal, just like I can underwrite an HVAC business.
Yeah.
And if you have the systems and processes in place, or the brain that can do that, which we have, like for us, I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah. Dude, we should collaborate on content more often. I know we were talking about doing like Instagram lives and stuff, but I'd like if it was like a reoccurring thing, like every now and then always have you on the podcast so we just collaborate back and forth.
Yeah, dude, cool. For sure. I think
like Derek too, I love making content with. I feel like we're all just like,
dude, we're so busy, dude.
Yeah.
But, and my location sucks. I hate being up there.
Yeah, dude, I wish you were here in this I-4 area because the I-4 is easy. We could always get the Orlando, Tampa, and kind of in between, Polk County, Lake County.
Exactly, But, for me right now, I'm just trying to give as much away as I can for free.
Yeah.
Build to help as many people as I can. So, if that means I hop on a Zoom call once a week or, you hop inside our Facebook group and we do some underwriting and things like that just to provide value.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because, again, going back to Hermosi, it's about the context, right?
Yeah.
So I might be irrelevant right now, but when I sell my business or I make X amount of dollars someday, it will become relevant.
Yeah.
And then everyone will watch.
Yeah.
So
Spencer,
dude, pleasure. Yeah.
Awesome podcast.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Fucking great.
Good.
All right. If anyone wants to find you, social media channels, what products do you have to offer? Obviously, if you want to sell your mobile home park, especially if you're in Florida, he's your guy. Especially if you're tired of low offers, he's your guy. If you want to list your park, get highest offer. I'm your guy.
Yeah.
MHP value, baby. But yeah, social channels, how can someone find you? Is there anything that you're trying to push right now or anything you're planning on growing?
Yeah, dude, definitely want to try and grow the personal brand a little bit. Spencer R. Davidson's where you can find me on everything.
Mainly Instagram right now? Or
mainly Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah. Also, the Facebook group he's talking about is Mobile Home Park Investing Group, right? Or?
Mobile Home Park Investing Pros.
Okay. Oh, I have Mobile Home Park Investing. I don't use it.
Yeah. So I'm on the Mobile Home Park Investing Pros Facebook group. We have 600 members. That group's so fast.
Yeah.
We're just trying to provide real content, real value to people in these groups other than these other bullshit groups.
Yeah.
So come there. I literally am as transparent as I can on cold calls. I post all my cold calls in there, my cold call sessions. I'll go live for 3 hours in there and dial sessions.
Yeah.
So you can hear in real time. The only thing I ask is just don't snake my deals because
he posts his deals on there, by the way.
I post my deals on there. And if you're going to come in there and snake deals and try and cut me under, I'll just block you.
We'll blackball you in the industry.
Well, yeah, dude. It's just not a good look. And I'm starting to know enough people now where we can do that.
Yeah.
And we'll just collectively blackball you. So, but otherwise, yeah, dude. And then my YouTube, Spencer Davidson Real Estate. I'm working on branding that, coming out with some vlog. I'm working on it. So I'm probably gonna pick your brand on some of that stuff too, like and building that out. So.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching.
Sweet.
Me, MHP Value. If you want to learn how to find deals with the processes I use, with like email, text, blast marketing, CREDealaccelerator.com. Applies to pretty much any asset class, but you got to know how to underwrite it first. So if you're new, pick something you could learn to underwrite first. MHP Value and Armand Violi, all channels. Thank you again, bro.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep.